Matlala says he was connected to Sibiya by a criminally accused cop, Nkosi, but he insists they are not friends. Khumuzo Modise has more.
Vusmozi Kat Matlala has struggled to explain his relationship with suspended Deputy Police Commissioner Shadrack Sibiya, taking short pauses as commissioners and evidence leaders pushed him for an answer.
What was the nature of your relationship with him? The description, nature or description of your relationship?
I do not know how to answer this question, Commissioner. You say nature.
Were you friends?
No.
Matlala also claims Sibiya is being investigated for the Medicare 24 tender where he is an accused, and as a result, he cannot give details about their relationship, which he claims forms part of the investigation. The alleged crime boss has told the commission that when his house was raided by police in December 2024, Sergeant Nkosi, who was the alleged middleman between him and Sibiya, asked him why he told the police that he knew Sibiya. Khumuzo Modise, Eyewitness News, Pretoria.
A prominent KwaZulu-Natal businessman arrested for human trafficking is expected to apply for bail in the Durban Magistrates Court today. The 65-year-old, whose name cannot be legally disclosed, has also been linked to top cops and politicians during testimony at the Madlanga Commission. He is expected to appear with a 48-year-old man believed to be his accomplice. Tabiso Goba reports.
In August 2022, the Hawks rescued a group of women from a mansion in Durban North. It's alleged the 4 women were lured from El Dorado Park in Johannesburg under a false promise of a sales job. However, when they arrived in Durban, it's alleged they were forced into prostitution and pornography. The 65-year-old businessman is alleged to be the ringleader behind the entire operation. In addition, his name has been mentioned several times at the Madlanga Commission, exposing his ties to top police and political figures. Tabiso Goba, Eyewitness News.
The family of anti-apartheid activist Steve Biko says it wants the reopened inquest of his death to finally deliver the truth. The comments followed the resolution of a funding dispute that had delayed the start of the hearings in the Gqeberha High Court. The Justice Department will now cover the legal cost of Biko's widow, Nontsikelelo, who is expected to testify. Nkosikona Malingamnisi reports.
The funding for Biko's wife was in doubt after Legal Aid South Africa said she did not qualify, a decision the court questioned given the historical significance of the inquest. With that issue now settled, the Biko family, backed by the Azanian People's Organization, says its focus can return to the matter that has brought it to court, the search for truth and justice for Steve Biko. Biko died in 1977 after suffering severe injuries in police custody. Nearly 5 decades later, questions around the circumstances of his death remain a source of pain for his family. The inquest was reopened in September last year, giving the family another chance to seek answers after years of wanting justice. Biko's son, Kosinati, says they now want the hearings to focus on the facts and to finally bring the truth to light.
I'm aware, we all are aware, that before the Kampepe Commission, our efforts to stall this kind of case, which makes it all the more important. We cannot have a democracy founded on a culture of non-accountability.
The first witness is expected to take the stand this morning. Khona Malingamnisi, Eyewitness News in Gqeberha in the Eastern Cape.
And the US has announced a host of sanctions against Iran and threatened its supporters in what Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent says is the single greatest financial offensive ever. The announcement comes almost 6 months into a war on Iran that has ground to a stalemate, with stalled peace talks in Tehran blocking most traffic through the Strait of Hormuz. Expanded Secretary sanctions would target Iran's digital assets, technology, gold, aviation and shipping sectors. Bessent says President Donald Trump is reaching out to world leaders with requests to stop interactions with Tehran.
And nations that facilitate any interactions with the regime should quickly heed our message. Those who stand with the United States will reap the rewards of our partnership. Those who tether themselves to the Iranian regime should expect to share in the isolation of a withering regime.
In response, Iran's economy minister Ali Madaninazeh says there is a 2-year plan to counter the sanctions, which would result in another defeat for Washington. Gold is trading at $4,633.58 an ounce. The rand is at 16.03 to the dollar, 21.84 to the pound, 18.69 to the euro. Brent crude oil is at $92.40 a barrel.
And in the traffic, we've got delays on the N1 North in the Diepkloof area. An accident reported right after the Diepkloof interchange is causing heavy delays. Please try to avoid that one. You can still use the Mike 1 North, particularly heading towards the Joburg CBD, although you'll be stuck for about 5 minutes due to the peak time delays between Boysons Road and the Crown interchange.
And in your sport, Rassie returns to regular schedule as he names his Springbok squad for the second greatest rivalry test in Cape Town. Chelsea's front three fire them to season-opening win at Fulham, and SAFA given 21 days to account for allocated funding for the VAR introduction in South African football.
A fine day in store for Gauteng, Johannesburg, starting at 6 degrees, peaking at 24. Pretoria, 10 and 26. Vereniging, 5 and 25. The top story in EWN, the SAWA. Alleged crime boss Vismusi Ket Matlala is expected to continue testifying about his relationships with police officials when he returns to the Madlanga Commission today.
EWN, in touch, in tune, and independent. For the latest, visit ewn.co.za or download the EWN app. Every promise, every ward, every word. Follow every moment of the local government elections on 702 Cape Talk and ewn.co.za.
This is Breakfast with Bongani Bingwa
on 702.
Let's walk the talk.
7 minutes after 6 o'clock. Welcome to the show if you've just joined us. It's Tuesday, the 25th of August, the year of our Lord 2026. Many a smile around Gauteng today as people get out of bed after doing a little stretching, your eye rubbing, bit of yawning, as you grab your phone and you look for that SMS. Maybe at 3 o'clock in the morning you were sleeping soundly and it went gring, gring. Payday for people. Muteo. He's got so much money, Muteo doesn't know when payday is. Hey,
Bongani,
those are not his problems.
He doesn't have our problems. He's
like,
not excited about it.
People wait for that? People get excited about that? Oh, wow. To be Muteo Harepe, I tell you.
It's because it's gone, Bongani. It's already gone.
Yeah, right. Yeah, right. On our show today, we're going to be talking about the arms industry. It really is one of the dirtiest business industries around the world. Not narcotics, not human trafficking, not the sex trade, not big pharma or big tobacco. The arms industry. You may hear about the wars in Gaza and Ukraine and in the Congo and think these are distant conflicts. Some of the decisions about what weapons are deployed are made in big boardrooms in some of the world's biggest financial capitals. There are live streams. There are live streams from places like Gaza. Not to tell you what's going on to the residents, but for people who are smoking cigars, popping champagne, saying, see our weapons are working. Can you think of anything dirtier than that?
This is Breakfast with Bongani Bingwa
on 702.
Let's walk the talk.
You commit the crime, you must do the time. But does it have to be here? South Africa's prisons are under severe pressure. Serious chronic overcrowding sits at up to 158% of capacity. You'll find a facility that was designed for just over 100,000 inmates, now bursting at the seams with nearly twice that capacity. A huge problem we have in South Africa is the number of foreign nationals who are in our jails. We've done this issue not too long ago, and one of the things that arose from that interview was that in many cases you have remand prisoners. These are persons who are accused of a particular crime. There's been no trial date, they're not on trial yet, they've just been arrested, right? To say you face these charges. Now, in a typical scenario, that person would appear, there'd be a bail application, they'd be released on bail, and whenever it is they get a court date, they would come to court and some process would commence. Except for many of these poor folks, even 1,000 rand for bail is too much. So they don't have the money and they languish behind bars years in some cases before their matters are ever heard. So even if somebody's sentenced to 6 months, I mean, isn't that extraordinary? You could be sentenced to 6 months in prison after 3 years waiting for your trial to begin. And in that time, more people like you are filling up the system. So one of the proposals is to say, well, can we at least get rid of the ones who are not ours as such, right? The foreign nationals. Can we at least take them to their countries of origin, let them go do time for their crimes over there? Will it make a difference? The other issue we are keeping an eye on is the growing number of inmates who are dying on the inside. It seems as the numbers grow, something's going on. There's been an 83% increase in the number of inmates dying on the inside in this year compared to the last. What on earth is going on? Our big interview this morning is with the inspecting judge, Lee Bozalek, who is the Judicial Inspectorate for Correctional Services. And then just before 9 o'clock, we're going to be hanging out with Vusi Nova. He's celebrating 10 years of his album Nanini Na, and he's got a new tour. It's called Here to Stay. He'll be telling us about his performances, his music, his career, and his journey. That's on our menu this morning.
You're with Bongani Bingwa.
702 weekday mornings, 6 to 9 a.m.
Breakfast with Bongani Bingwa is brought to you by BCX, helping South African organizations turn cloud, data, and AI investments into faster decisions, smarter operations, and measurable business outcomes. Of course, I'm not alone. As always, this morning, the team of colleagues behind the scenes helping put the show together. Rupfiwa, producer, Siamtanda, producer, Bapelile, producer, KG, producer, Karabo, producer. Hey, Wen.
We're producers in our own right.
Yes, we are. Muteo Khadipa, of course, is the voice that you are hearing there. A very good morning to you, Muteo.
Morning, Bongs.
Amo?
Good morning, Bongs.
Good to see you as always.
Good to see you too.
Here's a question for the two of you.
Mm-hmm.
I want to know, how do you navigate an older person, usually, I mean, it sometimes isn't, but usually it's an older person in your life whose views of the world are outdated, but they're unapologetic about what they think, and they don't mind saying it. This is the hill they will die on. So this is somebody who is in your life that you probably have to have some level of deference or respect for, right? So you can't just dismiss them and tell them to take a hike. So it could be your in-laws. It could be your own parents. It could be an uncle. It could be a boss. And then every now and again, there's an awkward moment around either the boardroom table or the dinner table because they've said these things that they've said. Is there an awkward silence and everyone looks down and picks up their phone and checks their messages? Do you just say, I mean, is there such a thing as a man or woman of their time? You know, people from long ago. Do you say that?
Yes.
How do you navigate?
That's exactly what I say. If I have a friend or, somebody who's not my immediate family and they don't understand a certain person, I'll just say, that's what they think and that's how they are. You can't really, even if you can, express your views and they will let you, but you won't win. You won't really, they won't give you a chance.
Riddle me this then. Let's raise the stakes for you, Amo. There you are with your husband, Calvin, and somebody says something inappropriate because they hold outdated views. You're invested in that comment. This is about your husband, they're saying this. Do you still say, Abantu badala,
guys?
Do you still say, hey, honey, leave it alone? They just... Or do you confront it and you say, ooh, what about your children? Somebody says something inappropriate about your children.
You know what? Those things have been said many times before, Bongani, and sometimes by very close family members. And if I want to maintain peace in my life, I just let them be. Just because I'm not disagreeing with them verbally doesn't mean I'm agreeing with them.
All right. Muteo?
Two things I've always battled with family especially, and those that are older in our family, that telling someone about their weight is not a form of greeting. Whenever there's a family gathering, telling someone that they've now gained weight or they've lost weight is not a way of catching up, It's a very sensitive issue, and to always tell older people that, it's not something you just say to somebody, right?
Do you fix it right then, as in when
What
it
do you do?
happens, or on the side?
Openly, and it's become a thing that it doesn't. I don't think it even happens anymore.
Mm.
Because it's something over the years of constantly spoken about, to say, if you're telling that person they've gained weight, they probably know it.
Or that they've lost it.
Or they've lost it drastically, yes.
All right, Mchana. Right?
Mm.
How do you deal with an older person in your life, whether at work or private, whose views of the world are outdated? We'll tell you why we're asking coming up.
Let's walk the talk.
702.
I mean, there's drama all the time. So I can no longer say, oh, what drama at the Madlanga Commission of Inquiry yesterday. There were some tense moments, of course, and I want to bring you up to speed with that in terms of what occurred. Let's start with the moment where the chair of the commission, Justice Mbuyiseli Madlanga, became visibly frustrated during a dispute where Vusumuzi Matlala's lawyers, junior advocate Fatima Misi, was appearing without, of course, the lead counsel, Annelien van der Heefer, who was said to be ill. And they were trying to get a postponement. And at some point, it got really, really testy. Have a listen to this exchange.
I hope you are listening to me. I hope you are listening to me. We did not have to get to this point, and I'm addressing you as well, Mr. Matlala, on this. We did not have to get to this point about whether or not this Section 204 statement or affidavit or the contents of it should be divulged. Mr. Matlala could and should actually have responded to the question directly. If Mr. Matlala said, your question relates to A, B, C, D point, which is about one of the crimes of which I have been charged, therefore I risk incriminating myself.
Here's the other thing. How important is it that when you're in conversation with someone, they're actually looking at you as a way of demonstrating that they are listening? Because at the start of that clip, you hear him saying, I hope you're listening to me. I hope you're listening to me. It escalated and got even worse because clearly the lawyer that he was addressing was probably finalizing, whispering something with a colleague.
There is no need for him to refer to the Section 204 statement as some umbrella cover for his protection. As I said earlier, there is authority from the Constitutional Court that says you must clearly identify the crime to which you are referring in asserting your privilege. And then that should take you to whether, in the face of that, the question put to you is a question that you should or you should not answer based on whether the privilege under those circumstances can be asserted. You don't have to refer to Section 204 or the statement that you made under Section 204 and to then use that as some overarching protection. Once it's in the statement, therefore, I cannot answer questions relating to it. It should not. I see your junior next to you is shaking her head. Maybe she's going to give you some brilliant point on why I'm talking nonsense.
Yeah? So firstly, the junior advocate wasn't looking at him. And he says, hey, are you listening to me? I hope you are listening to me. I hope you're listening to me. Then the junior sitting next to her starts shaking her head, disagreeing with what he was saying about the Section 204. And he says, oh, I hope she's got a brilliant point, because clearly I'm talking nonsense. Because why would you be shaking your head when I haven't even finished what I'm saying, what I'm explaining, this principle of law? I'm a retired constitutional court judge. I was at the apex of our legal system. And I'm sitting there and you're some junior advocate and you're shaking your head. I mean, he didn't say that. He didn't say that. To be clear, how important is it to you that when someone is talking, you listen, you engage, your body language, that you're not looking away, whispering on your phone? Is that important to you? Let us know.
702 Breakfast with Bongani Bingwa is brought to you by BCX. Built on trusted telecom business connectivity. Powered by cloud, strengthened by security, enabled by AI.
Mateo, you've got a question of your own?
Yeah, I want to know, and this, of course, might be a pain point for a lot of people. How much does school fees take up in your household budget? Whether it's for your children or even yourself as you upskill yourself while working.
Or even, where you help out in the family,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
Yeah, no, it's a chunk.
And
It's a
also
chunk.
because there'll be extra things as well. Sometimes you get a child needs extra lessons on either math or English, or
Yeah, that's also part of
there's
it, yeah.
extramural activities that you feel like,
And the equipment,
and
and
the
the sports
equipment
stuff, and the music stuff, and the tours.
So if you are willing to talk about it this morning.
Don't depress us.
702.
Weather.
Right, if you were happy about that SMS, Mateo's just reminded you where it is all going to go this morning. Temperatures peaking at 24 degrees in Johannesburg, 26 is your high in Pretoria, 25 in Vereeniging. A fine day for Cape Town, maxing at 19 degrees. Durban maxes at 24.
EWN traffic.
Check out the roads, 22 after 6. Amo?
Bongani, we start with accident scenes on some of our major routes, like on the M1 South in the Kelvin area, an accident right near Marlborough Drive, delays coming out of the Baklu interchange. There's another accident scene reported on the N1 North in the Deep Kloof area. This one happened right near the Deep Kloof interchange. It's also causing delays. And then if you are traveling on the M1 North, there's queuing traffic already between the Boysons Road exit and Carr Street double-decker section. So heading towards the Joburg CBD, do expect a bit of a hold-up this morning, about a 10-minute hold-up along that stretch. I'll have more updates coming up. Do stay tuned.
There's more EWN on air, online, and on the EWN app.
Morning, Bongani and 702 family. Are we so sure that when South Africa repatriate this prisoner back to their country will let them serve that jail? What if they go and release them and they will now come back to do more things? Is there no way that both countries can come together? Like, here's the thing, guys. I have much capacity than I build. Can your country help in building? Because I don't trust this justice in another country. I don't want to lie to you, because taking them back now, at the end of the day, they see them on the streets again.
Yeah, that's a fair point, and that's one we'll bring up to the Inspectorate of Correctional Services. How do we make sure that even as we ink deals with a number of countries, they simply it won't be a catch and release, as it were? How do we make sure that these people actually serve the time they need to in their home countries?
Start your day with Bongani Bingwa
on 702. Let's walk the talk.
Things you need to know at this hour. A major immigration crackdown could be taking shape in the United States. The Trump administration is preparing to pull the business and tourist visas of as many as 200,000 foreigners who have applied for or are currently seeking asylum. And if it goes ahead, it would be the largest mass visa revocation in U.S. history, a move that is almost certain to face legal challenges. Once it was seen as a sleek, futuristic feature of electric cars specifically, but it's now become a major safety headache in China. See those minimalist hidden door handles designed to give EVs a clean, modern look? They're at the center of China's biggest car recall, affecting more than 4 million vehicles. Among those that are affected are almost 3 million Chinese-made Teslas, with concerns that flush-fitting handles can be difficult to find and operate, particularly when seconds matter during an emergency. So if the driver or other occupants of the vehicle need to be pulled out, somebody from the outside can't open the car if the handles are locked inside, if you know what I mean. Those fancy flush handles. So it's a real concern. Adam Gilchrist will give us more details in the World View. Is there an example of a car feature that frustrates you every time you use it, that is not as easy as the manufacturer told you it would be? It could be touchscreen controls or hidden electronic door handles. push-button gear selectors. What car feature annoys you in your car?
Well, it's not in my car, but it's something I have to get used to. If somebody's got that one where you press for the boot to go down,
Yeah?
I always have to remind myself that I don't have to slam
the boot down. Voice assistants, maybe, hey? Wireless charging pads that don't always charge. The 100th Comrades Marathon is officially open, and it's set to be one for the history books, with a record 28,000 runners and more than 8 million rand in prize money, as, of course, we look forward to the centenary of the Comrades Marathon. Sean Connery, the legendary Scottish actor, would have turned all of 96 today. He was born on this day in 1930. He won an Academy Award for Best Supporting Actor in the 1987 gangster film The Untouchables. You'll know him, of course, as really the original James Bond, beloved by many Bond fans over the years. But Sean Connery had some problematic views, and he's the reason we were asking earlier, how do you deal with somebody whose views of the world are a little outdated?
You did an interview, which may come back to haunt you. You know what I'm going to say, right?
No.
Okay. You did an interview in which you said, not the worst thing to slap a woman now and then. As I remember, you said you don't do it with a clenched fist. It's better to do it with an open hand. Yeah. Remember that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
I didn't love that.
I haven't changed my opinion.
You haven't?
No, not at all.
You think it's good to slap a woman?
No, I don't think it's good. I
think it's bad?
I don't think it's that bad. I think that it depends entirely on the circumstances and if it merits it. Yeah.
What would merit it?
Well, if you have tried everything else, and women are pretty good at this, they can't leave it alone. They don't want to have the last word, and you give them the last word, but they're not happy with the last word. They want to say it again and get into a really provocative situation. Then I think it's absolutely right.
To give her a good slap?
Yeah, absolutely.
Huh? That's what this is, by the way, this was an interview with Barbara Walters, who was probably the most visible female journalist on the world stage. And Sean Connery says, yeah, no, she talks too much. She wants the last word. You can give her a slap. And he maintained that position really to his last. So I'm keen to know, how do you deal with the Sean Connerys in your life? People whose views of the world are completely inappropriate and outdated. I don't think I even need to say that. And on this day in 2001, the R&B star Aaliyah tragically died at the age of 22 with 8 others when a small plane crashed shortly after takeoff in the Bahamas. She had just finished filming a music video for Rock the Boat.
702.
The newspapers.
The newspapers. Sfisa Zulu, very good morning to you.
Good morning, Bongani. Just quickly going through this, a very, very disturbing story. There's a dangerous new social media trend that's sweeping Britain and Ireland, where young men film themselves driving on the wrong side of major roads, then post it online just for likes and views. And it turned tragic over the weekend in England when a car driving on the wrong side of the road collided with a police vehicle, killing 2 officers and 5 young people aged between the ages of 17 to 23. One of the teens had previously posted footage of a high-speed police chase online, and now the UK government is demanding social media firms to remove such content, calling it truly reprehensible.
And just utterly stupid. I think this is the second story we're hearing in the week about exactly this kind of thing. Similar details in the other one as well. The front page of the Business Day, Joburg's taxi rank get up and go plan. So there's a plan to try and revamp the Noord Street taxi rank. They're thinking of turning it into a 7-story, multiple-story building, and they're asking the private sector to get involved. And I just thought, how would you fix Noord Street? Because it wasn't designed to have the capacity that it now has to have. If you include the Wanderers precinct and all around Park Station, it wasn't designed for all of that. But so many commuters, is probably the biggest rank in the country. How do you fix Noord Street? Demolish it? Start from scratch? What would it look like?
EWN Business.
Muteo thinks we don't cry enough tears, hey? He wants to know how much do school fees take up as a portion of your household budget? Is it sizable? And are you even spending money on your own studies? What prompts the question?
Well, Bongani, private education in South Africa is seeing increased demand despite households being tight on money. Advotech, the company that owns private schools and tertiary institutions, says enrollments have surged over the past year. The company owns schools like Crawford International across Gauteng, KZN and Kenya, Pinnacle Colleges as well as Trinity House. It also owns a Rosebank College and Rosebank International University, higher education brands with presence in South Africa and Ghana. Emirates is another of their higher education brands, absorbing elements like Vega and Varsity College. Advotech says it saw a 19% surge in tertiary student enrollments to 71,467 students, driving a 16% increase in headline earnings for the 6 months ended in June. The education division grew by 13%, while operating profit grew by 15%. Overall revenue for the group was up 8% at 5.6 billion rand. This was up from the 4.6 billion reported last year, while operating profit grew 14% to 1.1 billion rand. So private education, quite big business for Advotech. Emirates educated approximately 30,000 students across its network. The company says healthy enrollment growth, moderate fee increases and further improvement in data management contributed to Advotech delivering interim earnings of 16%. So that's where all the fees are going.
Yeah, where's the rand?
16.03 against the US dollar, still in a very good position at 18 rand 68 against the euro, 21 rand 84 cents against the British pound. Price of gold little lower this morning, $4,635 an ounce, or platinum is lower by 1% at $1,863. Brent crude up 1.6% this morning, $92.48 a barrel. More business after 7.
Let's talk Durkos. Fisa Zulu, good morning.
Thanks, Bongani. Good morning. International Relations Minister Ronald Lamola says his predecessors should account for setbacks to investigate and prosecute apartheid-era cases. Lamola yesterday told the TRC Cases Inquiry he could only account for his own 5-year term as Justice Minister. He was testifying during cross-examination by counsel for the families of victims of apartheid crimes. He was asked whether responsibility extended beyond former justice ministers.
My predecessors should account for their terms. I'm here to account for what I did. That's what I endeavor to assist the commission. Whoever was responsible, whether it's the NPA, it's the Justice Department, it's issues of finance, because this involves finance, DPSA and all that, they should be able to account.
Lamola has also defended his decision not to support a commission of inquiry into alleged interference in the prosecution of TRC cases, citing budget constraints.
There were budget cuts across government, so it was not just impacting the Department of Justice only, but the whole of governments. There were budget cuts. The NPA itself, we were discussing how to support them, and not just for the TRC cases, but for the overall operations of the NPA.
2 men have been arrested as Johannesburg Metro cops are cracking down on illegal guns across the city. The suspects were caught in Lefureng, south of Joburg, yesterday after officers received information about an alleged illegal firearm transaction. JMPD spokesperson Bongani Bingwa says investigations into the origin of the weapons are continuing.
Officers were deployed to the area and set up targeted surveillance. Shortly thereafter, a vehicle matching the exact description was spotted with 2 male occupants inside.
In the Western Cape, there are growing calls for stronger policing and sustained action to curb taxi-related violence in the province. This call has been reignited after a 21-year-old taxi owner was shot and killed over the weekend. 2 men were also killed last Thursday. The DA's Noma French Mbombo says parliamentary figures show 138 taxi-related attacks were recorded during the 2025-26 financial year.
The killings in Danone and Luandle are a stark reminder of the human cost of taxi violence. In 2025-26, about 51 people lost their lives in 138 taxi-related incidents. The police must do more to arrest criminals and keep communities safe. We must also rethink policing by bringing investigative and intelligence capabilities closer to our community.
And Venezuela's interim government says 6,509 people are now known to have died from the powerful twin earthquakes that struck the South American nation exactly 2 months ago. The magnitude 7.2 and 7.5 tremors devastated the coastal state of La Guaira, where at least 190 buildings fell apart. Efforts to recover the dead under the rubble are ongoing in La Guaira, where thousands of people made homeless by the quakes are living in makeshift camps. The interim government has not disclosed how many people remain missing after the disaster. A fine day in store for Gauteng today. The temperatures are at lows of 5 and 10 degrees, peaking at highs between 24 and 26.
And in the traffic, we've got delays on the N1 North, a major accident scene leaving Diepkloof. It happened on the N1 North after the Diepkloof interchange is causing delays. There's also queuing traffic due to another accident in Kelvin along the M1 South, right near Marlborough Drive. Delays from the Baklu interchange.
The top story this hour, Ronald Lamula says his predecessors should account for setbacks to investigate and prosecute apartheid-era cases.
It's a good thing you're naked in traffic. Because what if the highway is jammed during rush hour and you're the reason why? With Naked, you can request tow truck assistance instantly on the app. Go to naked.insure now and get comprehensive car insurance at a lower premium. Because when bad things happen, it's a good thing you're naked. Naked Financial Technology is an authorized FSP. Get naked.
Some parcels are more than parcels. They're gifts, opportunities, supplies, and moments people are counting on. That's why CourierIt makes it easy to book, send, and track your parcel online, moving it from your door to anywhere nationwide. And with 2,700 pickup points, sending has never been more convenient. With real-time visibility, reliable delivery, and people who care, we help you deliver what matters. Move it with CourierIt, because your parcel deserves more. Sign up on courierit.co.za.
They said they didn't have a favorite, but that wasn't true. Mom takes pictures of it, and then Dad shows it off to visitors, and no one is allowed to touch it with sticky hands. When I arrived, they let the butcher hold me.
Melissa, we've spoken about kicking the new Decofern table. Come meet Decofern's irresistible new arrivals and grab your favorite furniture at your favorite prices. Now at your nearest Decofern or decofernsa.co.za.
Coming up in the next hour, What's the Question? It's brought to you by Outsurance. 3,000 Rand in cash is up for grabs. So what you do is you send us an answer based on something that piqued your interest during the show. For that, you win 1,000 Rand. WhatsApp us your name and the answer to 072 702 1702. Now, you always stand a better chance of being selected if you've SMS'd out to Outsurance to get yourself a quote. So do it now. SMS out to 45142 and you could save on your car insurance.
This is 702 Breakfast with Bongani Bingwa, brought to you by BCX. Built on trusted connectivity, powered by cloud, strengthened by security, enabled by AI.
Another plus for that arrangement, Bongani, I think that agreement must be taken forward. It's going to make a great benefit, because one thing that I know and one thing that is out there in the street. The criminals who are foreigners, many of them, prefer to be arrested in South Africa because of the treatment in prisons in South Africa. They will be scared to be taken back into their country where they know that they will face, a hostile situation, and it will work as a remedy, whereby people will know that even if I commit crime here, whereby I'm scared to commit crime back home, if I commit crime in South Africa, I'll be taken back to my country where I will face, tough situation, tough time there. So it will be a remedy for crime in South Africa as well. Hidden from Marshalltown.
Good morning, Bingo. In Zim, if you send prison back, if they are not problem to ZAN, I can assure you they will be released. They will be released if they are not a problem to ZAN. Only in Zim, you can only stay in prison if they see you are a threat to ZANU PF Nanga Konichiwenga. Then you will stay in prison. I can assure you that. But if you are not, I doubt you will ever stay. If you are an associate of ZANU grouping in Zim, they will release you, whether you like it or not.
All right, we'll have that conversation with the Inspectorate Directorate. How do we make sure that even as we make these deals and these arrangements to repatriate foreign nationals from our jails, they won't simply be released?
EWN Sport.
Let's get straight into the world of sport now. Anthony Teixeira is with us this morning. Lots of reflection following the weekend, following that disastrous game for the Bokke. But hope is not lost.
Yeah, listen, looking at the squad that was announced yesterday, 100% we should be hopeful because after only announcing the squad 48 hours before the opening of the Rugby Greatest Rivalry tests, Coach Rassie Erasmus returned to regular programming and announced his squad for the Cape Town outing on Monday. He named a match day 16, not 15. This is because Siya Kolisi has been penciled in alongside Paul de Villiers in the number 6 jersey and will have to undergo a fitness test to make the squad.
Siya, if he gets through training today, he's still got Nigel on Sunday, so we want to get him into the team, but he has to get through today's training, so that's why he's slashed with Paul. That's why Peter is staying captain, but if Siya gets through, we might make a change there. We just want to make sure if Siya doesn't get through, then at least, we had the captain on the day.
Peter Steph du Toit will be joining the 100 club as he runs out on Saturday. Oxenchair also reaching a milestone as he scrums up for a 50th cap. Erasmus confirming they'll depart for the coast Wednesday. Before the All Blacks can do the same, they have a tour match against the Lions this evening at Ellis Park. So far, the Stormers, Sharks and Bulls have been no match for the former world champs. Switching to football now, where the Premier League opening weekend left the most exciting clash for the last one. Chelsea fluid front three of Jean-Pedro, Morgan Rogers and Cole Palmer all on the score sheet as they held off Fulham 3-2 as a new Blues boss, Xabi Alonso.
They are going to be a very important part of the team. To build around them, or to build the team with them. They need to take responsibility. They need to lead the rest. They need to inspire the rest, because if they do great, the other ones will follow.
Sports Minister Gayton McKenzie has told SAFA to pay back the 13 million rand, which was to be used to introduce potentially a VAR into South African football. McKenzie confirming he wrote a letter over the matter, and SAFA asked him for a 21-day grace period. Sports Minister asking the public to not blame him over the lack of its introduction this season. While in cricket, Sri Lanka will hope to avoid losing more wickets as the third day of the second test begins against India. Just before stumps Monday, the Indians declared on 503 for 9 centuries for Padikkal and Jural in that first innings, while in the 3 overs that the hosts did face, Krishna and Sutha claimed a wicket apiece and left Sri Lanka 8 for 2 by stumps. And in cycling, stage 3 of the Volta a España was forced to be abandoned inside the final kilometres due to a dangerous hailstorm in the Pyrenees. Anthony Teixeira, Eyewitness News Sport.
A bigger and better national lottery is here. Play Powerball, Lotto, Daily Lotto, Match Play, and Instant Games. It's your chance to win big. Available at participating retailers, online, and on your banking app. The National Lottery. More plays, more chances, more millions. Players must be 18 years or older. Play responsibly. The National Lottery is officially operated by Sisakai.
Smart business moves save money. Switch to Outsurance Business Insurance and you could get a massive 20% discount on your business insurance premium. Here's Stephen from the Villa Rosa.
I was with my previous insurer for 8 years and then I switched to Outsurance Business Insurance. I'm very happy with the premiums and switching was the best decision we ever made.
Get a quote to switch and save today. Visit outsurance.co.za or call 0800 60,000. Licensed insurer in FSP. TCs and information online.
Design Plus Interiors massive closing down sale. After 50 plus years in the furniture business, it's time to smell the roses. Everything must go. Everything is half price. Doors close on the 20th of October. Saturdays and Sundays, we're open until 2 p.m. 17 Kramer Road, Kramerville. Don't miss out. Design Plus Interiors massive closing down sale.
Brainy Kids of the Whiskers
on 702.
Hello 702. My name is Rita Msinda and I go to Midstream Ridge Primary School and I would like to be a fashion designer when I grow up. Thank you for having me.
702.
Coming up at 7:15, the big interview.
EWN traffic.
Oh, Rita, we can't wait to play the Whiz Quiz with you too. The CWN traffic, though, in the meantime, is brought to you by Outsurance. SMS out to 45142 now, and you could save on your car insurance. If you don't, you can ask them for 500 Rand. The slow traffic on the M1 South, Amu?
Yeah, Bongani, a major accident in the Kelvin area. It happened right near the Marlborough Drive exit. Delays coming out of the Baku interchange. Unfortunately, there's another accident seen on the N1 North leaving the Deep Kloof area. It happened after the Deep Kloof interchange, causing delays. And that one on the N12 East is still there near Xavier Street, is also causing delays. So please approach with care or try to use the Xavier Street through Ridgeway to try and avoid that backlog. We'll have more updates. Do stay tuned.
There's more EWN on air, online, and on the EWN app.
Things people stress about in traffic. Number 55. Is this the right outfit choice for my shape? Ladies, embrace all your beauty this Women's Month. With the Outsurance Pointsman on your route, at least the traffic is one less thing to stress about. The Outsurance Pointsmen have been easing traffic congestion so we all get to where we need to be quickly and safely for the past 20 years. With Outsurance, you really always get something out. In partnership with 702. Outsurance is a licensed insurer and FSP.
Why do the big guys all have loyalty programs, but none of the local favorites? Most loyalty programs are hard work, a new app to set up, cards to stamp, or lose, too much admin. Yoko Loyalty just runs. Points are earned automatically with every payment. Stop just running your business and get back to building it. Yoko, let's grow.
Hi, this is Alia Itzebet, Hollywood Bet's brand ambassador. A reminder that you can still shoot for the stars while playing responsibly. If you or someone you know needs help, call the South African Responsible Gambling toll-free counselling line on 0800 006 008 or WhatsApp help to 076 675 0710. Hollywood Sportsbook is a licensed betting operator. Hollywood Bet supports responsible gambling. No persons under the age of 18 years are permitted to gamble. Winners know when to stop.
The Festival of Motoring, powered by Westbank, returns to the Kyalami Grand Prix circuit from 28th to 30 August. Experience thrilling track drives, supercars, drifting, 4x4 adventures, and the very latest in automotive innovation. Book your tickets now on Howler. The Festival of Motoring, where legacy meets innovation.
Who is the whizziest of them all?
It's the Whiz Quiz on 702.
Up next, we'll explain the arms industry, the global weapons trade, and its impact on ordinary folks around the world and where those decisions are made. Our EWN colleague Jane Dutton will join us for that conversation. In the meantime, let's play the Whiz Quiz with Rito, who is 11 years old and goes to Midstream Ridge Primary and wants to be a fashion designer. Rita, what's your favorite item of clothing?
I love jeans.
You love jeans. Skinny jeans, baggy jeans? As long as they're jeans, eh?
Yes.
All right. Let's see if you can denim your way to 10,000 Rand. KG, start the clock. What is the name of the building where people borrow books? Is it a library or a cinema?
Library.
Correct. What is 30 divided by 2?
15.
Correct. Complete the saying, you can't teach an old what? New tricks.
Skip.
Dog. How many legs does a spider have? 8 or 16? Correct.
8.
Which insect builds hives and produces honey?
Bees.
Correct. True or false? Carbon dioxide is used to make bubbles in soft drinks.
False.
It's true. In which month of the year is Youth Day every year?
June.
Correct. Which ocean is the largest?
Atlantic.
It's the Pacific. Which Disney film includes the hit song Let It Go?
Frozen.
Correct. Spell the word summer.
SUMMER.
Correct. And all in time too. 10 questions we had, 10 we asked, and 7 you got right. Rita, you walk away with 700 Rand. Remember, you must be age 10 to 13 to play. And if you get all 10 correct, you win 10,000 Rand.
The Brainy Kids of the Whiz Quiz
on 702.
Current events, developing stories,
tough questions.
Your voice making a difference.
This is Breakfast with Bongani Bingwa.
On to this now. Listen, it's hard to think of a dirtier industry. Not big pharma, not big tobacco, not human trafficking, narcotics, not even the sex trade. None of them compare in scale, in money, and the cost to human life to the arms industry. The global trade in weapons is widely considered by anti-corruption experts, legal scholars, and law enforcement agencies to be among the dirtiest in the international economy. When a bomb blasts and limbs are ripped from bodies and guts spill out, the arms industry celebrates. Children in active war zones become frequent bedwetters and sometimes develop such acute anxiety they lose the ability to speak, what we call selective mutism. All it takes to trigger the panic is a sound, a siren to warn, or the real thing, explosions or gunfire. And that is music to the arms industry because they can show that their weapons work. They openly exhibit them at fairs, pricing them at top dollar, and governments around the world can't get enough. Our EWN colleague Jane Dutton hosts a podcast. It's called Talks Dirty, and she joins us now to unpack the dirty business of war, following on a recent conversation you had with Andrew Feinstein.
Yes, very good morning to you.
And thank you for coming in, Jane. I mean, that's the background, right? But we're talking big money here. What is it? $679 billion in 2024 alone?
I mean, staggering numbers, right? And that's up 5.9% in real terms in 1 year. US companies accounted for $334 billion. That's almost half. And obviously, as you were saying, when those weapons are dropping, money is dropping into your bank account. People are celebrating. The CEO of RTX, which used to be known as Raytheon, as the bombs were dropping in the Middle East and Ukraine, he was caught gloating on a call to his shareholders saying, this is really good news for us. So this is how it is seen.
I mean, for ordinary folks, when we think about war, you mentioned the Ukraine, you mentioned Gaza, whatever your view, it is a catastrophe. No ordinary person thinks war is great. But for these guys, it's like a World Cup, right? Wasn't there something, I think it was a live stream to show shareholders and investors that look at what they can do.
Well, when I worked at Al Jazeera, we would hear about this often. Whenever there was some kind of incursion happening in Gaza in particular, a couple of days later, we'd hear of some sort of trade fair. So Andrew Feinstein, who I interviewed for the podcast, so he's a whistleblower, the South African arms deal, and he has been for the last 20 years following men and the dirty money behind this arms munitions business. And he was invited, before they knew who he was invited to one of these. And something had happened in Gaza a couple of days earlier, and he went to Dubai. It often happens somewhere in the UAE. And he said he was, ushered in with a beautiful Israeli girl. She told him she was Israeli, and she sat down next to him, and he watched the live play. He's called it, what he calls today the genocide live stream. But he watched this play of these weapons used by Israel from the UK, from the US, playing out what felt like in real time. He said it was one of the most grotesque, disturbing things he's ever seen. And the Israeli was telling him that these are the weapons used to get rid of Hamas, to get rid of terrorists. But he said these are actually weapons that are used to kill tens of thousands of Palestinians. And in that moment, right there and then, you buy those weapons, which you use, and you know that they work because you've seen it firsthand.
Because they're sold and marketed as battle tested. And it's a world of smoke-filled rooms, and it's shrouded in absolute secrecy at the very highest levels of business, politics, and the military.
Well, I think you've got what you've seen now, the tech bros getting involved, right? The Palantirs who are controlling this from a distance. The software are the new controllers. Because of that level of secrecy, it's very hard to determine who gets what, when, where, and how. Governments can hide behind the reasoning of national security, so we can't tell you what is going on. But let's talk about the most corrupt commercial transaction to ever happen in the world. $6 billion of bribes. That was Britain's Al Yamama deal with Saudi Arabia, one of the biggest arms agreements in history. And the Serious Frauds Office in the UK was investigating this because it was pretty well known.
This was the Mark Thatcher one, right?
That's correct. And Tony Blair quashed the investigation into it. Mark Thatcher, they called it my Yamama because, he's obviously the son of Margaret Thatcher at the time. Margaret Thatcher said that Tony Blair was her biggest achievement, considering the deals that he was able to broker. So this deal, he quashed those extraordinary numbers of corrupt deals between Saudi Arabia and so many other players. And for that, he was then rewarded the top job of the Middle East Quartet, something like 6 months later, to oversee a peaceful transition in between Palestine and Israel. And in fact, that time, it got a whole lot worse. His relationship, Bongani, with the CEO of, and this was with BAE, right? He had such a strong relationship with the CEO of BAE. They went to Kazakhstan after the dictator there's government opened fire on innocent victims.
This is the weapons company, to be clear.
That's right. Yes, correct. So they went together to advise the government on how to deal with this kind of catastrophe. So it's said that Tony Blair, since he left office because of deals made while he was in office, has made more than £100 million.
And of course, you had a bit of a moment with him, didn't you? Once upon a time.
I did. Back in the days when I was at Al Jazeera, and he was part of the Middle East Quartet at that stage, and he hadn't been into Gaza because he said he was citing security concerns at that moment. And my question was, how can you elicit peace? How can you talk peace? How can you get this movement happening when you're not on the ground talking to the players, talking to
everyone, to all the players,
absolutely, whether you like them or not.
Look.
He didn't like that.
We live in Johannesburg. We're far away. Someone might argue, and this can feel as if it has no impact on us. And yet, of course, we have seen persistent war on this continent. I think you and I spoke about the South Sudan scenario not too long ago. And the point is, with the global weapons industry being what it is, shrouded in secrecy, all of these deals between politicians and businesses and the military and the resources we have on this continent. I mean, it's a perfect recipe, isn't it?
Well, it's not even really hidden anymore. For example, the UK flew more reconnaissance flights on behalf of Israel than Israel did itself. So you can imagine the sort of money and the kickbacks there. Trump's sons were involved in investing in a drone company, apparently, according to Andrew Feinstein, just days before the Iranian war kicked off. Right here in South Africa, we've got DRC and Sudan, the world's worst humanitarian catastrophe playing out. There are so many players in these proxy wars. I suspect that the number post-2024 will be even higher. So many players. You've got Chinese weapons going through the UAE to fund the RSF. You've got Turkey, you've got Ethiopia with its drone warfare there, and Eritrea also stepping into the fray.
Is world peace a pipe dream?
I'll quote Andrew Feinstein again. I love him because he's positive. His mother was an Austrian Jew. She had to be rolled up in a carpet in order to survive the war, the Nazis. And he grew up in apartheid South Africa. Excuse me. And he said, you know what? We pulled off something quite extraordinary in South Africa, something nobody ever thought at that stage would happen. We were able to end apartheid. And he said it's all down to people pressure, because those governments aren't going to walk away from that amount of money. And just remember that the taxpayer funds these arms companies. They are heavily subsidized. Why should we be paying for these arms that kill other people? So again, it's going to be possibly sanctions and people power that does the trick.
But of course, the people who usually dish out the sanctions are the very ones involved in this industry. Jane Dutton, thank you for that A to Z, if you will, of the global arms industry. It really is dirty, isn't it?
7:02.
Coming up, the big interview.
Do the crime, do the time, but do they have to do it here? Is our next conversation. We'll be speaking to the inspecting judge for the Judicial Inspectorate for Correctional Services right after this Eyewitness News, brought to you by Outsurance. SMS out to 45142 now, and you could save on your car insurance. If you don't, ask them for 500 Rand.
This is EWN.
Vusmuzikat Matlala is pressed about his vague description of his alleged dodgy relationship with Shadrack Sibia, and a lawyer and her cop husband in a fraud case are hoping for a successful bail bid. Good morning, I'm Sfiso Zulu. Alleged crime boss Vusmuzikat Matlala is expected to continue testifying about his relationship with police officials when he returns to the Matlanga Commission today. He struggled yesterday to explain how he's related to suspended Deputy Police Commissioner Shadrack Sibia. Matlala says he was connected to Sibia by a criminally accused cop, Fani Nkosi, but he insists they're not friends. Khumzo Modise has more.
Vusmuzikat Matlala has struggled to explain his relationship with suspended Deputy Police Commissioner Shadrack Sibia, taking short pauses as commissioners and evidence leaders pushed him for an answer.
What was the nature of your relationship with him? The description, nature or description of your relationship?
I do not know how to answer this question, Commissioner. You say nature.
Were you friends?
No.
Matlala also claims Sibia is being investigated for the Medicare 24 tender where he is an accused, and as a result, he cannot give details about their relationship, which he claims forms part of the investigation. The alleged crime boss has told the commission that when his house was raided by police in December 2024, Sergeant Fani Nkosi, who was the alleged middleman between him and Sibia, asked him why he told the police that he knew Sibia. Khomzo Modise, Eyewitness News, Pretoria.
A Limpopo lawyer and her Tshwane Metro cop husband, accused of defrauding 3 deceased estates of more than 4 million rand, are expected to continue with their bail application today. Charlotte Tibana and Peter Kakash Nonyane were arrested earlier this month. The state is opposing bail, with the investigating officer expected to continue giving evidence in the Polokwane Magistrates Court. The court last heard that 2 luxury vehicles were allegedly bought with the money. Mongezi Koko reports.
Charlotte Tibana, who runs a law firm in Polokwane, was appointed as the executor of several deceased estates. The NPA alleges she unlawfully transferred money from trust accounts. Her husband, Peter Nyonyane, a Tshwane Metro police officer and social media personality known as Gagash, is accused of being involved in the alleged fraud. The couple initially faced charges linked to about 1.75 million rand. The state has added more allegations, with the total value now exceeding 4 million rand across 3 estates. Tibana faces 3 counts of fraud and 2 for money laundering, while Nyonyane faces 2 counts of fraud and 2 for money laundering. They both deny the allegations. Mongezi Koko, Eyewitness News.
The EFF believes its bid for a vote of no confidence in National Assembly Speaker Thoko Didiza tomorrow will be disadvantaged by the House not sitting physically to debate the motion. The party's main gripe against Didiza is a decision she took in June not to oppose a High Court application by President Cyril Ramaphosa to interdict parliamentary impeachment proceedings against him. Ramaphosa will today answer quarterly questions from parties before the House. This is a week before he legally challenges an independent panel report commissioned by Parliament, which has resulted in him facing impeachment. Lindsay Dentlinger has more.
EFF MP Ompile Martwe says given that plenary sittings of Parliament are currently being held either entirely virtually or in a hybrid with partial attendance to allow MPs to electioneer in their provinces, it is likely to affect the outcome of the motion of no confidence. But it remains undeterred in its position that Speaker Thoko Didiza should face removal over her handling of Parliament's impeachment proceedings against the President.
We say the Speaker is not fit for office. She has put Parliament into disrepute and she cannot continue to serve as the Speaker of the National Assembly.
With a vote of no confidence in a National Assembly Speaker last held in 2014, Martwe says however it turns out, it would have followed through on what the party supporters expect of their public representatives.
We've engaged a number of political parties. Some said they will support, some said they will not support. But we are not deterred.
After boycotting President Cyril Ramaphosa's last Q&A in the National Assembly, the party says it plans to ask him questions today. Lindsay Dentlinger, Eyewitness News, Parliament.
And the US has announced a host of sanctions against Iran and threatened its supporters in what Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent says is the single greatest financial offensive ever. The announcement comes almost 6 months into a war on Iran that has ground to a stalemate, with stalled peace talks in Tehran blocking most traffic through the Strait of Hormuz. Expanded secondary sanctions would target Iran's digital assets, its technology, gold, aviation and shipping sectors. Percent says President Donald Trump is reaching out to world leaders with requests to stop interactions with Tehran.
And nations that facilitate any interactions with the regime should quickly heed our message. Those who stand with the United States will reap the rewards of our partnership. Those who tether themselves to the Iranian regime should expect to share in the isolation of a withering regime.
And in response, Iran's economy minister Ali Madanizadeh says there is a 2-year plan to counter the sanctions, which would result in another defeat for Washington. Gold is trading at $4,633.58 an ounce. The rand is at 16.03 to the dollar, 21.84 to the pound, 18.69 to the euro. Brent crude oil is at $92.40 a barrel.
And in the traffic, we've got delays on the M1 South between the Baku interchange and Marlborough Drive due to an accident. There's another accident scene reported on the N1 South. This is in the city of Tshwane, right as you approach Rigel Avenue. It's due to a truck, so please be on the lookout there.
And in your sport, João Pedro scores quickest season opening goal in the Premier League as Chelsea claim a 3-2 victory at Craven Cottage. Orlando Pirates confirm the departure of Patrick Maswangani. All Blacks look to clean sweep the URC team, with the Lions standing in their way this evening at Ellis Park, and quadruple Bach injury blow ahead of the second test against the ABs.
A fine day in store for Gauteng. The temperatures will peak at highs between 24 and 26 degrees. The top story in EWN this hour: alleged crime boss Vismusiket Matlala is expected to continue testifying about his relationships with police officials when he returns to the Madlanga Commission today.
EWN, in touch, in tune and independent. For the latest, visit ewn.co.za or download the EWN app.
Deciding to ignore the traffic report may cost you a dentist appointment, but deciding to stay with your current car insurance could be costing you thousands of rands in savings a year. With Outsurance, 36-year-old Gil saves a jaw-dropping 471 rand a month on her 2025 Hyundai i20. Switch to Outsurance. You too could be one quote away from having more money in your pocket every month. SMS out to 45142. So that's out to 45142. Outsurance is a licensed insurer and FSP. T's, C's, and information online.
702 proudly presents the Dina Letty stage at the Standard Bank Joy of Jazz 2026.
We're gonna have some fun. You guys ready?
This is Jazz Reignited.
Jazz.
Get your tickets at Ticketmaster.
You're listening to 702 Breakfast with Bongani Bingwa, brought to you by BCX, technology that helps organizations move forward.
This is Breakfast with Bongani Bingwa
on 702.
Let's walk the talk.
9 after 7, Kat Matlala yesterday having some real struggles at the Madlanga Commission of Inquiry, explaining his relationship with Lieutenant General Shadrack Sibiya. He was really under the cosh when the Commissioner, Advocate Silo Mahlapa, questioned him about conflicting versions of his interactions with Sibiya, including an engagement party they were both linked to. Matlala repeatedly declined to answer, saying he was worried his responses could incriminate him because he was under investigation. Well, he was pressed on that, and he really battled to answer. Have a listen.
We haven't done anything to even stray into that discussion. We're talking about something separate, which is your relationship with yet a third party who's not charged with you. So I don't understand, in the current criminal case that you are facing, how you'll be called to account for your relationships with, including General Sibiya. How does that come into play?
It actually does.
How?
I don't know how, because I'm not an investigator.
Okay, then I'll tell you that it doesn't. You cannot even, I won't even say prove, it's too high a threshold. You cannot even persuade the commissioners that it is relevant for purposes of the current criminal case you are facing. You are not able to.
The cheek I'm not an investigator. I once conducted an interview with the CEO of an organization who subsequently, because of that interview, was no longer the CEO because of questions he couldn't answer. And on television, you have these walking shots to sort of set up the whole interview. Extra visuals you take with the guest. And so clearly the interview had not gone well. So when we asked him to do these walking shots, he says, I'm not an actor. You wanted me here for an interview. I'm not an actor. Are we done? Kat Matlala, they're saying, I'm not an investigator. Don't ask me. You're asked about your relationship or friendship with someone. And you say, well, I'm not an investigator. Don't ask me. If you want to know, investigate yourself, essentially.
You accept that?
I do not accept that.
Okay, then if you don't accept that, then demonstrate to these commissioners that relationship is relevant to the charges you currently are facing.
I think I've just said it, that the only way for me to demonstrate that is for me to now to get right inside the cracks of the matter, which is something that I cannot do.
Then I'll put this proposition to you, that you don't want to talk about the nature, extent, frequency of your communications with General Sibia, because if you do, you are at risk of incriminating yourself in some offense, because by their very nature, they would be breaching the law. That's my proposition to you. What's your response?
I cannot argue with you on that.
Okay.
That's how you see it.
That's how you see it, eh? We go from the obfuscations to the untruths to even a little cheekiness.
This is Breakfast with Bongani Bingwa
on 702.
Let's walk the talk.
12 after 7, things you need to know at this hour. A major immigration crackdown is taking shape in the United States. The Trump administration preparing to pull business and tourist visas of as many as 200,000 foreigners who have applied for or are currently seeking asylum. If it goes ahead, it would be the largest mass visa revocation in U.S. history, a move that is almost certain to face legal challenges. It was once seen as a sleek, futuristic feature, particularly in electric cars. Those hidden door handles, they're flush with the car when locked, and it looks pretty sleek. And if you drive a car like that, it feels like a safety feature in Johannesburg, because no stranger can simply come to your car and pull your door handle because they can't see them. Problem is, you're in an emergency. You, as either the driver or a passenger in the vehicle, need to be rescued and pulled out. Where's the handle? It's not there. In China, they've recalled almost 3 million Chinese-made electrical vehicles to deal with exactly this problem. And I was asking you the question earlier, is there a feature in your car that frustrates you every time you use it? It could be the automatic start-stop systems. There's also the one where your car, and it's a particular setting you have to put it on, some cars almost want to navigate where you move in lanes. And as you are driving, you can feel the car pulling a little differently to where you are going. When the first that happened to me once in a hired car.
Mm-hmm.
The first time it happened, I freaked out because I'm in control of the car.
Yes.
Next thing, the car is jerking this way, or I'm like, hey man, what's going on? Do you have a feature like that? The 100th Comrades Marathon officially opened entries. It's set to be one for the history books. 28,000 runners are anticipated, and it's going to be a massive centenary celebration. And on this day in 2001, the R&B star Aaliyah tragically killed at the age of 22. She was with 8 others when a small plane they were traveling in crashed shortly after takeoff in the Bahamas. She had just finished filming the music video for Rock the Boat.
702. Up next,
The Big Interview.
EWN Traffic.
Up next, we talk jails with the Judicial Inspectorate for Correctional Services. I can tell you it's no picnic, on the inside. Peak time delays everywhere, Amo.
Yeah, that's correct, Bongani. This is between the Baku interchange and Allendale Road on the N1 South. There's also queuing traffic on the N1 North between Rand Park Ridge and Fourways. While heading towards Bedford View, do expect heavy traffic volumes on the N3 North between the Airlines interchange and Van Buren Road. I'll have more updates. Do stay tuned.
There's more EWN on air, online, and on the EWN app.
What's for dinner tonight, South Africa? Hiya, Jamie Oliver here. Dinner stress? Forget it. I've teamed up with Checkers to bring you some of my favourite recipes the whole family will love.
You gotta try my simple smoky chicken wraps. Delicious and done in minutes.
Shop the ingredients on Checkers 6060 and boom, delivered in 60 minutes. Every week, 5 brand new dinner ideas. Checkers, dinner done better.
A bigger and better national lottery is here. Play Powerball, Lotto, Daily Lotto, Match Play, and Instant Games. It's your chance to win big. Available at participating retailers, online, and on your banking app. The National Lottery. More plays, more chances, more millions. Players must be 18 years or older. Play responsibly. The National Lottery is officially operated by Sizakai.
Running a truck fleet business in this economy is tough. Fuel, maintenance, staff, the costs never stop. That's why I switched to My Way Business Insurance. Now I save up to 20% on my insurance premiums every month. These savings go a long way to keeping my fleet on the move.
Switch to My Way Business Insurance and save up to 20% on your trucks and buses. Real businesses, real savings. Call us on 0860 646464 for a quote today. My Way is a licensed non-life insurer and FSP. Standard rates and T's and C's apply.
702.
The Big Interview
with Bongani Bingwa.
On to this now. You commit the crime, you must do the time. But does it always have to be here? South Africa's prisons are under serious pressure. Severe chronic overcrowding sits at up to 158% of capacity. Facilities that are designed to hold just over 100,000 inmates are operating at nearly twice that capacity. We also now have the largest incarcerated population in Africa. Many inmates are accused persons yet to be tried, but they languish behind bars because they can't afford bail. So even if it's a simple 1,000 rand, they'll stay in custody for years before their matters are even heard. But another pressure point is the number of foreign nationals in our jails. There are more than 30,000 of them in correctional facilities, including 4,000 Zimbabweans. So why not send them back to their countries of origin and let them serve their sentences there? The question is whether these prisoner transfers will genuinely ease the pressure, or is it that in some of these countries it will simply be a catch and release? We're also probing another worrying development, the increasing number of people dying on the inside. We've invited the Judicial Inspectorate for Correctional Services, and Justice Leonard Bozalek joins us now. A very good morning to you and welcome to our program.
Good morning, Mr. Bingwa. Thank you very much for giving us this opportunity. By the way, my name is Lee Bozalek, so if you could refer to me as that, I'd prefer that.
Oh, all right. Thank you so much, Lee Bozalek. I beg your pardon for not getting it right there. We now have the largest prisoner population on the continent. That was a number that surprised me.
Yes, I think that has been the case for a long time. We are certainly not the largest country on the continent, but we have the largest prison population, and it's growing each year.
And of course, our facilities are no picnic. I mean, life on the inside is nasty and brutish, and now we're finding out often short.
Yes, conditions in many South African correctional centers are in very, very bad state. There are differences between centers, but a great deal has to do with overcrowding. And where certain centers, many centers are overcrowded, then conditions, they fall to the level of inhumane in my experience.
Gosh, what are some of the worst examples you've seen, Judge?
Well, I'm sitting in Bloemfontein at the moment, and yesterday we went to visit Grootvlei Medium A and we went to the remand center. So it houses only inmates who are awaiting trial. And we went into cells which are designed for 40 or 50 persons. And even at that level, they would be pretty full. And they were holding, in some cases, 60, 70 people. And the inmates told us at times there could be 90 people in those cells. So people are literally living cheek by jowl. In some cases, they don't have their own beds. They're sleeping on the floor under other beds. And it's the conditions are dire, I'm afraid I have to say.
As you say, some of these are remand prisoners still awaiting trial, so we'll presume they're innocent until they've been found guilty. What do conditions like that do to dehumanize an individual?
Well, as you say, life can be brutish in those circumstances. And of course, if you are living very close to people and you're fighting for a place to sleep, or someone takes your place, or there's queues to use the one toilet in the cell, frustration can break out very, very easily. That can lead to violence and so on. So it's very difficult. In fact, when I was there yesterday, I was struck by how almost tolerantly people live together. So people make a plan, but obviously the more overcrowded the conditions, the worse the social impacts are going to be within that cell, and then within the center as a whole.
As I said in my introduction, another pressure point to this overcrowding is the number of foreign nationals in our jails. More than 30,000 of them. Do we have a split on how many of these are sentenced prisoners and how many are remand prisoners?
I don't have any exact figures on that, but I think it would be reasonably safe to say that approximately half of these will be awaiting trial prisoners. And especially in view of the fact that over the last few months, as you will be aware, the Department of Home Affairs have been taking steps to round up and arrest foreign nationals who don't have valid papers to stay in South Africa, or sometimes just on suspicion. So that's added to the numbers. And recently we were in Pretoria, in Pietermaritzburg prison, and we spoke to a whole group of young men. There must have been 40 or 50 there, and asked them what they were awaiting trial prisoners, and we asked them what their main complaints or desire was, and virtually this whole assemblage of young men put up their hands and said, "Please, we're sitting here waiting trial on immigration offences. Just send us home, send us back home to Zimbabwe or wherever it was," because these processes can take a long time, and sitting in prison for month after month waiting for a trial in these conditions is it's counterproductive as far as I'm concerned. It's adding to overcrowding, and it's not resolving any problem.
So would carting them off to their countries of origin ease the pressure? I ask because some have raised the concern that even if it's sentenced prisoners or remand detainees, it would be simply a catch and release. As soon as they are back in their home countries, they might be back on the streets.
Well, I think that's a legitimate concern, particularly when it comes to matters of violent crime. There are any number of a substantial number of foreign nationals who are serving life sentences for very, very serious crimes, and I don't think the South African public will take well to the notion that someone who has been convicted of murdering a relative or family member or something like that is sent overseas, and the sentence, for whatever reason, just slips away or is reduced to such a level that it makes a mockery of the sentence. So I think it's very important to see the detail in this memorandum of understanding, and to see whether this memorandum of understanding is not converted into legislation which has minimum safeguards that, for example, if someone is transferred back to their country of origin, they will at least serve a certain proportion of their sentence. Because once they're sent back over there, I can't see any basis upon which the South African authorities will be able to exercise oversight or control. Then it's in the hands of a foreign in carceral system, and I can't see that system or that country allowing South Africa to control things remotely as it.
You mentioned a memorandum of understanding. We've signed one, I think, with Zimbabwe. But again, we're talking about neighboring countries who face their own economic pressures, which is part of the reason their nationals are here in the first instance. And if we're struggling, to keep these folks behind bars, surely they will too.
Yeah, that is a concern. Conditions in many parts of our system are very poor, but all the same, one has to accept that, one has to recognize and appreciate that we provide inmates with health care, sometimes very important health care. We don't have anything other than isolated cases of torture and assault and so on and so on. And we feed all inmates and so on. So what would be a backward step would be to send inmates to serve their sentence so in their countries of origin, and send them back into conditions which are worse than those which are being experienced here. I don't think that will be doing much good for either the offender or for the general public, with simply transferring the same problem across borders and in certain cases exacerbating it. So one has to look at the detail of this kind of agreement and the circumstances into which people are being sent back.
Look, South African or otherwise, I think most people would rather stay at Kgosimampuru, for example, than go to, I don't know, Chikurubi, for example. The other issue that we want to talk about is the concerning increase in the number of unnatural deaths in our prisons. I think 44 is the number recorded in the first quarter of 2026, and that's significantly higher than the same period last year. Are there particular issues there that worry you?
Well, any concern in unnatural deaths worries Jix. The difficulty with this particular instance is that it's not clear what the cause of these deaths were. And of course, with a huge prison population of 173,000, they are regularly going to be natural deaths. So in these 44 cases, 39 of them are as yet undetermined. The authorities are waiting on post-mortem reports or autopsy reports, in some cases toxicology tests, before they could say, no, well, this person died of a heart attack, or he wasn't poisoned, or so on and so on. And only then does it move out into the case of natural deaths, into the category of natural deaths, and to which no blame can be attached. So it's an unfortunate process because it takes some time to get these tests, and months, and in cases years can drag by before you can put a definitive conclusion to the death. So that's the difficulty. What I can say is I've made inquiries, and I haven't received any information from across the country to the effect that, there were a spate of deaths in a particular center and they look suspicious and so on and so on. We haven't had that. So this may well be just a case of bureaucratic slowness, which is it's a serious problem in itself, because these inmates are living in a protected, closed-off community. They have family and friends outside, but the public doesn't have regular access or clear access to prisons. So it becomes all the more important that where a inmate suffers a serious injury, or worse still, dies in prison, then the family should be in a position to learn as soon as possible what caused this. So we are concerned about that, but of course it also reflects a breakdown in other parts of our criminal justice and health system.
And I think it does speak to the pressure overall around overcrowding and just the number of eyes that can look at a particular problem. And it does feel at times that sometimes we just lock them up and throw away the key. Appreciate your time. Lee Bozlek is the inspecting judge for the Judicial Inspectorate for Correctional Services.
EWN Business.
So, Khwaripe, let's talk about Ital Tile.
Yeah, they brought out some results yesterday talking about tough conditions in South Africa. Italtile's sales came in lower as weak consumer spending and intense competition hit its earnings. The South African Ceramics and Home Finishing Group says cheaper imports in terms of tiles also weighed on its performance. Revenue was subdued at 11.3 billion rand for the year ending in June. Sales volumes also coming under pressure despite average selling prices rising by close to 2%. Now, the group says it's welcomed provisional anti-dumping duties on certain imported ceramic and porcelain tiles. This is from India, Mozambique, Zambia and Zimbabwe. The company expects duties to ease pressure from cheap imports. Italtile is in talks to exit its Australian business as earnings come under pressure.
The markets?
Well, in regular trading on the New York Stock Exchange, the S&P 500 falling marginally yesterday. The Nasdaq Composite, which houses mostly tech shares, was down more than 0.5% as declines in chip stocks and other tech brands weighed on the broader market. Meanwhile, the Dow Jones was up 140 points. In Asia this morning, Japan's Nikkei falling by 0.5%. While the Topix was marginally lower as well. In the S&P, in the Australian benchmark, rather, the S&P ASX 200, that was up a little higher. So in Asia, things quite mixed this morning. The Rand at 16.03 against the US dollar, slipping from its stronger position. 18 Rand 68 against the euro and 21 Rand 84 cents against the British pound. Price of gold is weaker this morning, $4,635 an ounce. Platinum down 1% at $1,865. Brent crude up more than 1% at $92.12 a barrel. More business after 8.
Time now for your latest Eyewitness News. Let's talk schools. Sfisa Zulu.
Thanks, Bongani. Good morning. The Gauteng Education Department says an inspector has been sent to Rega Park Secondary School in Boksburg following concerns over the condition of its toilets, its sewer pipes and drinking water fountains. Spokesperson Onwabile Lupelwana says the outcome of the assessment will determine what needs to be done.
A team of inspectors has been dispatched to assess the facilities and determine the interventions required.
Transnet is turning to its property portfolio to help strengthen its finances. The state-owned logistics company has placed 15 non-core properties on the market, including the historic Carlton Centre in Johannesburg. But this is just a fraction of a much bigger property disposal strategy. Anil Tafandese has the details.
Transnet has identified about 3,700 non-core properties that it wants to offload. The aim is to reduce the cost of maintaining these assets, including rates, utilities and other property expenses, while generating cash. The move comes as Transnet faces continuous pressure to improve its financial sustainability, with National Treasury making it clear that direct bailouts are subject to strict conditions. The Carlton Centre could potentially bring in around 900 million rand, although Transnet's latest notice does not specify an asking price. Interestingly, this isn't the first attempt to sell the Johannesburg landmark. Now Transnet is trying again as it moves to shed assets that don't directly support its core business of rail, ports and pipelines. Anelita Fandese, Eyewitness News.
International Relations Minister Ronald Lamola says his predecessors should account for setbacks to investigate and prosecute apartheid-era cases. Lamola yesterday told the TRC Cases Inquiry he could only account for his own 5-year term as Justice Minister. He was testifying during cross-examination by counsel for the families of victims of apartheid crimes. He was asked whether responsibility extended beyond former Justice Ministers.
My predecessors should account for their terms. I'm here to account for what I did. That's what I endeavor to assist the Commission. Whoever was responsible, whether it's the NPA, it's the Justice Department, it's issues of finance, because this involves finance, DPSA and all that, they should be able to account.
Lamola has also defended his decision not to back a commission of inquiry into alleged interference in the prosecution of TRC cases, citing budget constraints.
There were budget cuts across government. So it was not just impacting the Department of Justice only, but the whole of governments, there were budget cuts. The NPA itself, we were discussing how to support them, and not just for the TRC cases, but for the overall operations of the NPA.
And an Argentine health insurance company has admitted that medical tests presented at the trial over the death of late football icon Diego Maradona were in fact those of his father, also called Diego. The older Maradona died in 2015, 5 years before the man considered one of football's greatest ever players. The blunder was spotted last week by a lawyer defending one of the 7 healthcare professionals on trial over Maradona's death in November 2020 at the age of 60. Maradona died of heart failure and acute pulmonary edema, a condition where fluid accumulates in the lungs, 2 weeks after undergoing surgery on his brain. His medical team is accused of providing grossly inadequate care in the lead up to his death. It denies the charges. A fine day in store for Gauteng. The temperatures are at lows of 5 and 10 degrees, peaking at highs between 24 and 26 degrees.
Traffic is heavily backed up on the N1 South in the city of Tshwane between Sefako Makgato exit and the Proof Plus interchange. That's due to roadworks. While heading towards Centurion, do expect delays on the N14 East between the R55 and the Brockfontein interchange due to peak time delays.
The top story this hour, the Gauteng Education Department says an inspector has been sent to Rega Park Secondary School in Boksburg following concerns over the condition of its toilets.
Everything you need to know about the local government elections is on 702 Cape Talk and EWN.co.za. Because this is more than local. It's personal.
Gauteng's greatest awards with 702 and Yoko celebrate the independent businesses that make Gauteng what it is. Independent businesses that earn loyalty the hard way, one great experience at a time. So Yoko understands the value of loyalty, which is why they recently launched Yoko Loyalty, a beautifully simple rewards program that lets businesses say thank you automatically every time a customer taps to pay. With loyalty at the center of this year's awards, we're asking you, the regulars who keep local businesses alive, to give the businesses that have earned your loyalty the recognition they deserve. Go to primemediaplus.com now to explore the carefully curated categories and nominate the local business that makes you proud to be a regular. Because if Gauteng's great businesses have earned your loyalty, they've earned your nomination. Gauteng's greatest awards at 702, powered by Yoko. Less admin, more time for what you love. Yoko, let's grow.
It's a good thing you're naked at the mall. Because what if you're absolutely certain that you parked on level 3, but level 3 has no idea what you're talking about? With Naked, you can submit your car theft claim instantly on the app. Go to naked.insure now and get comprehensive car insurance at a lower premium. Because when bad things happen, it's a good thing you're naked. Naked Financial Technology is an authorized FSP. Get naked.
Hi, this is Teko Modise, Hollywood Bet's brand ambassador. Be a winner who knows when it's time for a timeout and play responsibly. If you or someone you know needs help, call the South African Responsible Gambling Toll-Free Counseling Line on 0800 006 008 or WhatsApp help to 076 675 0710. Hollywood Sportsbook is a licensed betting operator. Hollywood Bet supports responsible gambling. No person under the age of 18 years are permitted to gamble. Winners know when to stop.
702 Breakfast with Bongani Bingwa is brought to you by BCX. Built on trusted telecom business connectivity. Powered by cloud, strengthened by security, enabled by AI.
Hi, Bongani and the team. So, regarding the overcrowding in jails, where is the Human Rights Commission? Because these are the kind of issues that they should be attending to. So they are quick to jump on the issue of legal immigrants being treated inhumane. But look at the conditions in our jail cells. I mean, the speaker there was just saying it's almost double than what the capacity is for the cells. You know, so where is the Human Rights Commission on these kind of issues? Because they now, like, they have never had them here and said anything.
Good morning, Bongani. Sam here from Midrand. I know I might be simplifying this, but would it not be an idea that sentenced prisoners, if we move from the premise that says sentenced prisoners should sustain themselves, so that their keep in those prisons should not cost the taxpayer, but rather they should have some sort of work, and produce something that then equates to the cost of them being kept in prison. Thank you.
Not sure how they would sustain themselves, or are you talking about the concept of hard labor, that they need to be doing something for the betterment of society, maybe laying out roads or helping build infrastructure? Many of those, of course, will not be experts at that kind of work, so you've also got to be careful what it is you would want them to do. It is a human rights problem. It absolutely is. And don't forget that many of the people who languish in our jails, as we explained in that conversation, are remand detainees. They're accused of a crime, and often it's not even a serious crime, but they don't have money for bail. I mean, we actually have scenarios, or at least the possibility of scenarios, in which someone who might eventually be sentenced to, 9 months, gets that sentence years after they were in the system waiting for their matter to begin or to go to trial. And so one of the things we need to maybe have a conversation about is how stringent must our bail scenarios be? If you're accused of some petty crime, should it be a case that until you've paid bail, you stay indoors, you stay inside the system? Maybe that's one of the things we could consider. There is a real concern, though, that some of these prisoners, if they are sent back or repatriated to their countries of origin, it'll simply be a catch and release. It will. I mean, if we are overcrowded because we don't have money to deal with the number of people that are behind bars, you think countries where the economic pressures are much greater than ours, that brought these people here in the first place, is going to handle them? I think that's a bit naive.
702.
What's the question?
What's the question is brought to you by Outsurance. A chance for you to win up to 3,000 Rand in cash. First, 1,000 Rand for the answer, and then a little later, 2,000 Rand if you can give us the question. SMS out to 45142 now, and you could save on your car insurance. If you don't, you can ask Outsurance for 500 Rand. Today's answer comes from Kevin. Kevin, what's today's answer, please? Hi, Kevin.
How are you doing, sir?
I'm doing well. What's today's answer,
Let's
please?
do it. 2001, Bongan.
2001. 2001 is Kevin's answer. Thank you for that answer, Kevin. You win 1,000 Rand, all thanks to Outsurance and 702. And there you have it. If Kevin says it's 2001, what's the question? Call us if you know on 011 883 0702.
EWN Sport.
Anthony Teixeira, Chelsea back to winning ways.
Yeah, they started off with an
years.
absolute bang, yes. Oh, wow, Bongani. But yeah, no, Chelsea up and running in the Premier League. A 3-2 victory it was at Fulham. They took just 31 seconds to score their first goal of the campaign through João Pedro, the striker etching his name in the history books as it was the quickest goal on an opening weekend in the competition's history. New boss Xabi Alonso delighted with the performance, even if they welcome pressure on themselves late on.
It feels very good, for sure. We know how tough it is to win any Premier League game, any Premier League away game, but I think it's been a very professional, solid performance with maturity. I think that it's a performance to build for the future, improve things for sure, but it's a good first day.
8 days left in the transfer window. Orlando Pirates bid farewell to Patrick Maswangani after he completed a move to Bahraini side Al Khaldea. Since arriving in 2022, the attacking midfielder filled his trophy cabinet as he picked up 8 trophies with the Buccaneers. Meanwhile, Man City have agreed a deal to sign Brazilian winger Alan Elias from Palmeiras. One out at the Etihad, with Newcastle reaching a verbal agreement for Nico Gonzalez, while Arsenal are reportedly talking to sell Gabriel Martinelli to Saudi club Al Hilal. And Nottingham Forest are working on a deal to pry Liam Delap from Stamford Bridge. This evening, we have the Betway Premiership, with action seeing the reigning champs Orlando Pirates up against Sekhukhune United. Marimo Gallants face TS Galaxy, while we have Kruger United facing Durban City. The All Blacks will run out for the last of their rugby's greatest rivalry tour matches against the URC sides. They return to the scene of their 33-16 win over the Springboks this past weekend. At Ellis Park, they collide with the Lions tonight. So far on their SA tour, the New Zealanders have gone unbeaten against the club sides, emphatically winning over the Stormers, Sharks and Bulls. Coach Rassie Rasmus confirmed that Cheston's Colby injury, which forced him off at the weekend, was more than just cramps or hamstring injury, but is affecting his ankle, and he's been replaced in the second squad by Ethan Hooker. He's also updated on the rest of the injuries list inside the camp.
Ben Jason have some concussion symptoms which he picked up last week. Puan, Venter and Kian Horn is playing for the Lions, so they won't be part of our team. And then unfortunately, Kanan and Grant. Kanan pulled a hamstring and Grant got an ankle injury. So those are the guys that are out.
Anthony Teixeira, Eyewitness News Sport.
EWN Traffic.
14 to 8. Let's catch up with the roads now. Amo on the N1 South. Delays?
Yes, Bongani, stop and go situation between the Brockfontein interchange and the Baklu interchange. Obviously, we've got roadworks as well as peak time delays along this route, and that's why several roads within the Midrand area are heavily backed up, like Olifantsfontein Road, New Road, along with the R55. And then if you're heading towards areas like Woodmead as well as Kelvin, do expect heavy delays due to that accident that happened in the early hours of this morning, right along the M1 South before Marlborough Drive. It's still causing heavy delays, about a 20-minute hold up coming out of the Baklu interchange. And then if you're traveling within the inner city areas like in Emerentia, we've got another accident reported on Bayers Nodia Drive. It happened right near John Adamson Drive. It's causing delays. There's also queuing traffic in Dunkeld along Jan Smuts Avenue between Winnie Mandela Drive and Jellicoe Avenue. We'll have more updates. Do stay tuned.
There's more EWN on air, online, and on the EWN app.
Corporates that care promotes and encourages corporate leaders and really all citizens to walk the talk for a better South Africa. This Wednesday at 10 to 9, we'll be in conversation with Old Mutual's Chief Executive of Group Social Investments, Ndumiso Zulu, to talk about the work they're doing to build a better South Africa. Tune into 702 and join the conversation. Corporates That Care is a Prime Media Cares initiative with 702 and Prime Media Outdoor. 702, let's walk the talk.
Calling all wedding planners and venues, restaurants, conference centers, and hotels. Do you need tables and chairs? Home in One has it all. Do you need cutlery, crockery, table linen, and restaurant equipment? Home in One has it all. Do you need tents, gazebos, or umbrellas? Home in One has it all. Affordable prices, the latest trends, with 2 branches in Pretoria and Johannesburg. Shop online at homein1.co.za because we're your number one choice. Home in One has it all.
A bigger and better national lottery is here. Play Powerball, Lotto, Daily Lotto, Match Play, and Instant Games. It's your chance to win big. Available at participating retailers, online, and on your banking app. The National Lottery. More plays, more chances, more millions. Players must be 18 years or older. Play responsibly. The National Lottery is officially operated by Sisakai.
702.
What's the question?
For 2,000 Rand in cash, all thanks to Outsurance. Please tell me, what's the question if the answer is 2001? Lucy, or is it Lucy or Lucky?
Lucy.
Lucy, beg your pardon, Lucy.
Yes, sir.
What's the question?
In what year did R&B singer Aaliyah pass away from an airplane crash in the Bahamas? She was 22 years old.
Yeah, she was such a little thing, hey? She was a child, as far as I'm concerned. Lucy, you walk away with 2,000 Rand in cash, all thanks to Outsurance and 702. And of course, there have been so many tribute songs to the likes of Aaliyah, who left us, I think, just too soon. Do you have an ultimate tribute song? Your go-to song when you want to pay tribute to someone, either in memoriam or for an achievement? What's that song you would play for those near and dear, but who are departed? One Sweet Day, maybe? Boys to Men and Mariah Carey?
Yes, that's the
We'll
one.
Be Together again?
Mhm.
Janet Jackson? P. Diddy? Missing You?
Yeah.
What's your ultimate tribute song? You Are Not Alone. I'll Be There. Let's talk.
No, 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 no. It's been too long and I'm lost without you. What am I gonna do? Said I've been needing you. Said I'm needing you. Who's been with you? Is your heart still mine? I wanna cry sometime. I miss you. Off to college. Yes, you went away. Straight from high school, you up and left me. We were close friends, also lovers. Did everything for one another. Now you're gone and I'm lost without you here now. But I know I gotta live and make it somehow. Come back to me. Can you feel me? Hear me calling for you. 'Cause it's been too long and I'm lost without you. It's been a long time. I shouldn't have left you without a doubt. It's been a long time. We shouldn't have left you without a dope beat. Step two. Baby girl. What would you do to get to me? What would you say to have your way? Would you give up or try again? If I hesitate to let you in, now would you be yourself or play a role? Tell all the boys or keep it low. If I say no, would you turn away or play me off? Or would you stay? Oh, first you don't succeed. Dust yourself off and try again. You can dust it off and try again, try again. 'Cause if at first you don't succeed, you can dust it off.
I think we all forget where Sister Bettina comes from. Because I was thinking KG, Sister Bettina, Aliyah. Ay. Deciding to ignore your alarm may cost you your complimentary hotel breakfast, but deciding to stay with your current car insurance could be costing you thousands of rands in savings every year. Without insurance, 48-year-old Adam saves an unbelievable 1,803 rand a month on his 2020 Audi Q3. Switch to Outsurance and you too could be one quote away from having more money in your pocket every month. SMS out to 45142. So that's out to 45142. Outsurance is a licensed insurer and FSP. T's, C's, and information online.
You hear that? That's the sound of business execution finally visible. No more chasing people and reports. No more disconnected systems. No more guessing if our business is performing or not. iStratGo connects strategy, people, performance, and day-to-day work into one clear software platform, so leaders can see what's working, what's not, and where to focus. Because when execution is visible, everything runs better. Book a demo on istratgo.com. istratgo.com.
A bigger and better national lottery is here. Play Powerball, Lotto, Daily Lotto, Match Play, and Instant Games. It's your chance to win big. Available at participating retailers, online, and on your banking app. The National Lottery. More plays, more chances, more millions. Players must be 18 years or older. Play responsibly. The National Lottery is officially operated by Sisakai.
Joy of Jazz. The Standard Bank Joy of Jazz returns on September 25 and 26.
Thank you so much.
Join 702 at the Dina Lady stage. Get your tickets at Ticketmaster.
So the other day I get this call from an insurance company. They asked me if I knew what their third-party policy entails. I said, third party? Whoa, big dog. I haven't even been invited to the first one yet. and they just put down the phone. I don't get it.
Don't get that insurance. Get Pineapple. It's easy to get and online. Pineapple FSP 48650 is underwritten by Omart Insure Limited, a licensed non-life insurer and authorized FSP. T's and C's apply.
702
702. What's gone viral?
with Kabazela.
Catch up now with the world of viral content. Kabazela.
Good morning to you, Bella.
So I saw you doing some of your moves yesterday in studio.
What, did you see me in the studio? Did you see me in the producer's booth?
The less said about that, the better.
No one's watching.
So listen,
yeah,
I can't make it this weekend, eh?
That's okay. That's okay. We'll do something another time.
I know you keep inviting me,
and another time comes and
I can't make
invite comes and you can't make it. What do you do? So you keep inviting somebody to join you for a braai or to go for dinner or lunch, and they say no. Do you give up, or do you kind of understand and say, life happens, it's all cool, we'll make it another time? Or perhaps you're like this guy, and if you invite somebody 3 times out, he kind of draws a line, and that's that. Let's take a listen to what he says, Bongles.
If I invite you to do something one time and you say no, that's life. If I invite you to do something a second time and you say no, that's probably coincidence. But if I invite you a third time to do something and you say no, that's a pattern. I'm not inviting you to do anything else at that point. Not as a punishment, just as a way to set a boundary for myself. I'm not going to keep inviting someone if you're going to keep declining. When you want to make time for someone and see them, you make it work. But if you don't, then you're going to let all the invitations stop coming to you.
Fair?
Yeah, I think after 3 times, if you've invited somebody and they keep declining you, they probably don't want to see you or hang out with you. You're not a priority. Or are we wrong? Is it, does it depend on the excuse that they give?
I think it does, but it also gives you, it also depends on whether they try to then make an effort.
Yes.
In other words, I couldn't make it to the last 2 things you invited me to. Do we leave it at that? Or do I then try and reciprocate and say, listen, I know I can't do this, but maybe let's do that.
Yeah, so you give a counter offer.
Yeah. So we get the thing going. But if I'm constantly inviting you and you're never available, that's a sign.
Yeah, I think it's a big sign, to be honest. I don't even think it happens with, let's say, close friends, because if you are close to somebody and you decline the invite, well, it's cool. No worries. We'll catch up another time. But I think it's in that beginning stage when you're starting to kind of form a relationship with somebody and you're making effort and they're not reciprocating with it. Then it's like, okay, well, you clearly don't like me or you don't really want to be around me.
If they wanted to, they would.
They would.
It's that simple.
Yes.
All right, let's take your calls on that. What do you do with repeated declined invitations? Do you keep giving the person a chance? At what point do you say, I see, they're just not that into me? Let's talk.
702
702. Feedback
with Siamtanda Matiso.
For Siamtanda Matiso comes to everything she's invited for.
I am so
she never declines. Hey, Amo. She's always there.
She makes the time.
Effort after effort.
Are you guys done? Are you done?
When last did you get an invitation?
Okay, guys. Now the feedback. No, I am the friend. I know, and there are many friends who call me and like, "Are you okay?" I try my best when I can.
So what makes you stay away?
I'm too tired, Bongs. We come to work
Weather.
at 3 a.m. in the morning every day, so I just can't. But I will give an alternative, and I'll make it up to you. I'll be like, let's go to a certain restaurant. I'll pay.
The operation.
You know what I mean?
Stay at home.
I don't remember. Bongani, do you remember being taken out to a
And
restaurant?
the feedback this morning. Many reacting to your lead, Bongani, when it comes to overcrowding in prisons and the foreign illegal foreigners in there. And some are saying it is inhumane, and they made examples of the loved ones that they know that are in prison, they experience the overcrowding. But some have come with solutions, Bongs. They're saying maybe we should have an alternative for imprisonment, especially for those who have done petty crimes. Maybe we should bring back house arrests. Maybe we should have made them do community service. Rehabilitation programs should be placed up. But some are saying, listen, we should just let them be in prisons and let it be in terms of overcrowding. But also many reacting on Muteo's questions on how much does school fees take up your household budget. They're not mentioning the prices. The only person who was able to mention how much they paid is Theo on the SMS line, and he pays 10,000 rands per child. He has 2 kids, a 4-year-old and a 2-year-old, and he's like, it's crazy. Many are just complaining about the things that come with the school fees. That would be the excursions and those school sports items that your children lose, the cricket bats, the hockey bats. So I can't wait to hear more of those reactions from
or perhaps not simplistic solutions, or perhaps not simplistic solutions anyway, because it's a complex problem. We've already signed this memorandum of understanding with Zimbabwe, but do you really believe that inmates repatriated to that country will stay behind bars? Let's talk.
This is EWN.
Kat Matlala aims to continue attempting to invoke his right not to incriminate himself, and the ANC comes to Senzo Mchunu's defense in Parliament. Good morning, I'm Sfiso Zulu. Alleged crime kingpin Vusmuzi Kat Matlala is expected to present documents to the Madlanga Commission this morning to substantiate why he cannot answer certain questions. During his testimony yesterday, Matlala invoked his rights not to incriminate himself. He claims that he's being investigated with suspended Deputy National Police Commissioner Shadrack Sibia for corruption, and so he cannot testify on the nature of their relationship. Khumuzo Modise has more.
Towards the end of proceedings yesterday, Vusmuzi Kat Matlala refused to answer questions about the guns and luxury watches seized at his home during a raid by police, particularly on whether he spoke to Shadrack Sibia about it. Matlala claims commenting would reveal his defense strategy in his attempted murder case. But after evidence leaders questioned the relevance and the link, the alleged crime boss promised to furnish the commission with documents to substantiate his claim.
Maybe if I can bring a copy that is signed by the investigating officer to show that indeed this is part of my case.
Evidence leader Mahlapi's lawyers asked that he also present the charge sheet in the matter to assist the commission. Khumuzo Modise, Eyewitness News, Pretoria.
In Parliament, the ANC has defended suspended Minister Senzo Mchunu's decision to disband the political killings task team, saying he's owned up to his actions. This was discussed as members of the ad hoc committee investigating police corruption deliberated a draft report last night. The committee was established last year after KwaZulu-Natal police boss Nhlanhla Mkhwanazi revealed corruption allegations in the police service. The report is expected to be finalized and sent to the National Assembly next month. Babalondenze has more.
The ad hoc committee continued hearing more recommendations on its findings from members as it tries to finalize its draft report. Discussions centered around how Senzo Mchunu's directive to disband the PKTT was influenced by the likes of activist Merita Haas, despite her not being an expert. But ANC MP Kusela Sangoni Diko says the directive was Mchunu's decision alone.
The minister has owned the directive. He did not go out and say he does not know this directive. It was sent via channels that were, unknown.
MK Party MP David Skosana says issuing the directive on New Year's Eve was strange.
It was an abnormal day. We know it. We know it. You don't have to have a PhD degree to understand that.
The committee is expected to finalize its report by the 11th of September. Babalondenze, Eyewitness News.
A Limpopo lawyer and her Tshwane Metro cop husband, accused of defrauding 3 deceased estates of more than 4 million rand, are expected to continue with their bail application today. Charlotte Dibane and Peter Kakash Nunyane were arrested earlier this month. The state is opposing bail, with the investigating officer expected to continue giving evidence in the Polokwane Magistrates Court. The court last heard that 2 luxury vehicles were allegedly bought with the money. Mongezi Koko reports.
Charlotte Tibana
Tibana, who runs a law firm in Polokwane, was appointed as the executor of several deceased estates. The NPA alleges she unlawfully transferred money from trust accounts. Her husband, Peter Nyonyane, a Tshwane Metro police officer and social media personality known as Gagash, is accused of being involved in the alleged fraud. The couple initially faced charges linked to about 1.75 million rand. The state has added more allegations, with the total value now exceeding 4 million rand across 3 estates. Tibana faces 3 counts of fraud and 2 for money laundering, while Nyonyane faces 2 counts of fraud and 2 for money laundering. They both deny the allegations. Monkey Zikoko, Eyewitness News.
And the International Maritime Organization says at least 20 people have died and 35 wounded along the Strait of Hormuz since the start of the war in the Middle East. The strait has been the main focus of the 6-month war started by the US and Israel against Iran. Many commercial vessels have been targeted in a vital conduit for oil and gas shipments. In total, 68 incidents have been confirmed by the International Maritime Organization. About half of the incidents have involved tankers, 20% container ships, and 15% bulk carriers. Gold is trading at $4,639.51 an ounce. The rand is at 16.03 to the dollar, 21.84 to the pound, 18.68 to the euro. Brent crude oil is at $92.04 a barrel.
And in the traffic, we've got delays on the N1 South. This is between the Summerend Road Avenue and the Baku interchange due to various reasons, like an accident that happened right near Allendale Road, as well as peak time delays and roadworks taking place right near the Baku interchange. Please be on the lookout there.
And in your sport, João Pedro scores quickest season opening goal in the Premier League as Chelsea claim a 3-2 victory at Craven Cottage. Orlando Pirates confirm the departure of Patrick Maswangani. All Blacks look to clean sweep the URC teams, with the Lions standing in their way this evening at Ellis Park. And quadruple Bach injury blow ahead of the second test against the ABs.
A fine day in store for Gauteng. The temperatures will peak at highs between 24 and 26 degrees. The top story in EWN this hour: alleged crime kingpin Vusmuzi Kat Matlala is expected to present documents to the Matlala Commission this morning to substantiate why he cannot answer certain questions.
EWN, in touch, in tune, and independent. For the latest, visit ewn.co.za or download the EWN app. Your neighborhood, your street, your home. Your local government election coverage lives on 702 Cape Talk and ewn.co.za. Download the EWN app.
This is 702 Breakfast with Bongani Bingwa, brought to you by BCX. Built on trusted connectivity, powered by cloud, strengthened by security, enabled by AI.
This is Breakfast with Bongani Bingwa
on 702.
Let's walk the talk.
7 minutes after 8 o'clock, taking your reactions to the issues we are raising on the show today, including what to do with overcrowding in our prisons. Jail is not a nice time. It's not a picnic. And for everybody who thinks, they get 3 meals a day, they get a place to stay, and it's just all lovely. It's not. Many of our facilities are overcrowded. People sleep cheek to cheek on the floor. Sometimes 3 or 4 on a single bed, a bunker bed. They're overcrowded. The food isn't great. I think supper's usually something like at 4:30. That's it. Until the next day. You wake up in the middle of the night and your tummy is going, home, home, home. What should we do? 30,000 foreign nationals crowding our jails. We've signed this MOU, what is it?
Memorandum of
Understanding. Thank you, Amo. With Zimbabwe. Now, if we are battling to provide space for inmates, do you think Zimbabwe can? How do we make sure it's not a catch and release? What should we do? It sounds simple enough to say, abahambe, to where? Because if it's a catch and release, they'll be back on our streets, coming after you again and again. And again.
Good morning, Bongani Mrefana here. My suggestion to overcrowding, but not overall overcrowding, only on foreign nationals that have committed crimes in South Africa, I would push to have a prison only for foreign nationals. And these summits that the likes of Ramaphosa are always having with their counterparts, push them to agree that if I have or I'm housing a prisoner from your country, you pay for that prisoner. So they have a prison which is maintained by foreign governments, get that agreement and live and let live. Similarly with me, should they arrest my person in their country, I have to pay for that person staying in their prison. That's just my contribution.
Yeah, I think we have to consider that a little more, hey? Firstly, there are a lot more foreign nationals in this country than there are South Africans in many of the countries that we would be having these arrangements with. And what's in it? Remember, if Zimbabwe wants to take its people back that we don't want to keep in our prisons, they're doing us a favor. The criminal escaped or left Zimbabwe under whatever circumstances, or Mozambique, or Eswatini, or whatever the case may be. They're only too happy to be rid of the bad elements of their society. So if they take these people back, they're doing us a favor. So when you say a foreign government must pay for its nationals in our prisons, why? Why would they do that?
This is Breakfast with Bongani Bingwa
on 702.
Let's walk the talk.
Muteo and Amo, Kabazela wants to know, after how many invitations that have been declined, do you walk away from someone? A friend who's always busy, who's never available, never comes to things. Do you say once or twice and then go sharp, sharp? If they would have, they could have.
Then you ask, are you not interested with hanging out with me, or are you just always very busy on days that I want to hang out with you? If the answer is I'm actually very busy, if the answer is honest enough, then you give another chance. I mean, I've said no to many people and they've still given me a chance. And when I had the time to be with them, I was with them.
And it was as simple as that, hey?
Yeah.
Muteo?
3 strikes for me. And I'm not asking after that.
When last did I get invited to these events that Muteo hosts?
But you came.
No, I'm just making sure. It's been a moment.
You know, I think a lot of people that decline invitations, it's not the excuse that Siamtandambadi so is making, that she wakes up at 3 a.m., she's always tired and so on and so on. It's social anxiety. Social anxiety is so common that even the person who has social anxiety is unable to figure out what's wrong. And the main issue is that, you know, for example, with me, at some point I have a bit of social anxiety because I can go hiking, I can go on a vacation, I can go to the City of the Sun, to the Blade River, Three Randavels. But if there's one thing I'll never go to is a club, tavern, club, pub. I don't want to find myself there. And I decline a lot of invitations going to those kind of venues. But anywhere else, please invite me.
Morning, Kabazela and Bongs. I'm one person who respects himself a lot, in a sense that if I invite you twice and you turn me down on 2 occasions, it's shy, I move on. And it's nothing personal, it's just a matter of picking up that maybe we don't vibe the way in which I wanted us to, and that is okay. People, they engage and relate with people differently, and that's totally fine.
Yeah, I mean, it also depends, exactly as you heard there, what the reason for the, decline might be. Social anxiety in particular spaces is a very, very legitimate reason to not come to events. So, yeah, it all depends. We want to talk about prisons, Johnny, or as they call them, correctional facilities. I think that's the appropriate expression. Good morning.
Good morning. Good morning, Bongani. I think the solution, in my view, it's simple. It's like
developing a place and creating infrastructure development for it. The number of inmates and the number of jails are not related. The ratio between the crime and South Africa and the jails is not related. We need to build more jails to accommodate these people. Simple as that.
All right. Johnny says it's about more jails, more prisons. Would that solve the problem? We already have the largest population of incarcerated people on the continent. Doesn't that tell you something when there are in fact larger populations in a number of countries much larger than our own? Godfrey Santon?
Hey, Bongani, how are you?
I'm all as well, Godfrey. Go ahead.
I'm okay. Bongani, you know what we need in this country? It's a form of a deterrent so that we don't have to have prisons that are full.
Okay.
In my view, government is importing chickens, it's importing crops that we should not have. I mean, South Africa has got a vast of land where farmers need people who can work in the farms. All we need is a technology that can be able to manage these people who are sentenced and they go and produce food for the country so that we stop importing food. The people who should be in prison are the only ones who are awaiting trials. The ones who are convicted already have to work in the farms and produce something. In that way, I can tell you, it will take 2 or 3 years. Nobody would want to work in a farm where they don't get compensated, but because of their serving their sentence. That's the only way.
So a kind of hard labor then is what you're arguing for.
It will be a hard labor. At the same time, it will produce for the country so that things that we import should no longer be imported. Then in that way, even our rent will start gaining a value.
All right. Godfrey says put them in hard labor, get them productive in some way that society at least benefits for the time that somebody is behind bars. Would that work, or would that open a whole new can of worms and other complications? Mateo, you are shaking your head vigorously.
Well, the US has a similar system, and it turns into a prison corporation where you end up trying to arrest as many people as you can in order to have people to work in those companies for no pay, right?
Because now you've created a kind of market.
Yeah, it's a
right?
market.
And when there's no one to serve it, well, there we go.
You need to find people. So, yeah, it can be problematic. I think South Africa needs to be harsher on crime. I think we talk about crime as something.
How so?
Well, there's certain things that we let go of, like, a sentence where somebody dies for what they've done. I think that's also opened up a can of worms for South Africa that we won't admit, that criminals feel like it's going to be a joyride. I can do 7 years.
Bring back the death penalty. Is that
half
what you're
of
saying?
my sentence. If I've given 15 years, they already work out. I'll serve and, I'll be back. It's also not going to be that bad. I'm a gang member, so I'll be home when I'm inside. It's a whole lot of other things. Like it needs to be harsher. It doesn't need to be a holiday when you go to prison.
I think ask anyone who's behind bars. I don't know if anybody if they all think it's a holiday or a picnic in there. Take more of your calls. 011 883 0702.
EWN Traffic.
This EWN Traffic is brought to you by Outsurance. SMS out to 45142 now, and you could save on your car insurance. If you don't, you can ask for 500 Rand. Amu?
Bongani, we've got a major accident scene on the M2 West that happened right near Cleveland Road. It's causing about a 20-minute hold-up coming out of the Geldenhuys interchange. And if you are traveling on the Geldenhuys coming out of the N3, do expect delays as well. This is due to the long-term roadworks that are taking place along this route towards Van Buren Road. That's in the Bedfordview area. And then, of course, we still have got queuing traffic along several roads within the Baklu interchange, like on the N1 North roadworks towards Allendale Road, the N1 South, an accident near the Baklu turnoff, and then on the N1 North coming out of Sunny Hill, delays towards the Baklu turnoff. In the city of Tshwane, queuing traffic as well on the N1 North near Porter Avenue, an accident reported there. Delays coming out of the Brakfontein interchange. More updates coming up. Stay tuned.
There's more EWN on air, online, and on the EWN app.
The Outsurance Pointsman can't help you get, or at least take, a not so cringe passport photo, but they can get the traffic flowing smoothly so you get to the department on time. Real heroes in green and purple, easing congestion to make lives easier for almost 21 years. In proud partnership with 702, Outsurance is a licensed insurer and FSP.
You're with Bongani Bingwa.
702 weekday mornings, 6 to 9 a.m.
On to this now. If you're looking for a different way to welcome spring, well, imagine spending a Sunday surrounded by sculptures, nature, and live jazz, with the music running from late morning right through to sunset. Well, Nairoc's Spring Jazz 2026 themed Breathe is taking place on the 6th of September at the Nairoc Sculpture Park in the Cradle of Humankind, and it brings together jazz, nature, food, and art, and making sure, of course, we support the arts and the artists, and also to maintain the park. We're joined now by Lloyd Anthony Smith, who's, of course, the curator and impresario of the Nairoc Sculpture Park. Always a pleasure to chat to you. Good morning.
Good morning, Bongani. Thank you for having me on your show.
Let's talk about the theme Breathe. It's so needed.
Yeah, definitely. I think we've just about weathered another heartfelt winter, and I think the change of season is a time to pause, to reflect, and to usher in some new beginnings, just to take a moment and breathe as a musical concept and thematic. It gives us space to play, so definitely think it's needed.
Talk to me. What can we expect on the 6th of September? I said jazz, I said food, I said art.
Yeah, you've covered most of the points there. Thank you kindly. In terms of jazz and breathe, we've looked to incorporate ensembles that have wind instruments and human voice. So from the late morning through to sunset, we've got Umgidi Ensemble, which is a project spearheaded by the amazing trumpeter Ndabo Zulu, with other players like Linda Skakane and Khonsi Makene. And we've also got the amazing Nomfundo Kaluva coming in from Cape Town. For those who've seen incredible vocalists, backing vocals, her ensemble is just out of this world. A slightly newer ensemble in the Spirit Whisper, which is Shane Cooper and Sisonke Konti on saxophone, and the amazing Rio Viwe on voice and flute as well, plus one or two surprises.
And there's food, of course. There's the fantastic restaurant, but there'll also be other opportunities for different kinds of nibbles.
Yes, what we like to call as the collective the Epicurean Emporium, an invited selection of traders from different markets and restaurateurs throughout Johannesburg and Pretoria. The Che Argentinian Grill, Tuto Paella, we've got canned pie and the prawnery from Keys Art Mile. There's a little bit of everything. It's quite a diverse culinary range for guests to enjoy.
Of course, we know Nairoc is a not-for-profit foundation. How important is it that people understand what it means for Nairoc to support events like Spring Jazz?
Yeah, so Nairoc has been functioning as a foundation for the last 20 plus years, and it's there to foster the arts. So in this instance, with the concert program, to create that platform for musicians and for guests to come and see the showcase and be introduced to musicians, either something that they haven't heard before or an artist or ensemble that they really love. So it's really an important way to uphold and uplift the arts, but it's very collaborative. You know, it only works with the assistance of Nairoc as the foundation and its space, the artists being who they are, our partners, and of course the audience. So it's a real confluence of energies there to make something like this work.
Sounds absolutely fantastic. Where do we get tickets?
NairocsArts.com is the website, or if listeners visit the Nairoc Foundation Instagram page, there's additional information and ticketing options available there.
Spring Jazz at Nairoc on the 6th of September. Lloyd Anthony Smith, appreciate your time, the curator and impresario of the Nairoc Sculpture Park.
702, The World View
with Adam Gilchrist.
All right, it's not yet over, Adam. From war to economic squeeze, the US now putting pressure on Iran.
I guess it's a two-edged sword, isn't it? So it's both military and then economic. And indeed, the American Secretary of the Treasury, Scott Bessent, talked about this as an economic D-Day, the imposition of new sanctions on Iran, because these are not just sanctions on Iran, but it's on people who do business with Iran. China, Turkey, Russia, they all do a fair bit of business, although the UAE was doing a fair bit of business with Iran, but announced last week it was halting all trade and financial transactions. So the spillover of this could extend worldwide. Be careful if you're suddenly doing a deal with an Iranian business of some kind, I guess, is what America is doing. They're wagging their finger. The only thing is, what difference does it make? They've already had a blockade of the Strait of Hormuz. There's very little that's moved through the Strait of Hormuz since February. So is this really upping the ante? Iran itself says it's fully prepared for these new sanctions and that it has a 2-year plan to counter them. We shall see. But do you know what? China buys 90% of Iranian oil. I can't see it stopping, albeit the blockade obviously makes a difference. But I don't think China's about to kowtow to American sanction demands. I think there are other countries that would fall into that block. And if you've got mates like China and Russia, who needs America, I guess?
And of course, I mean, the other unintended consequence is that much of what Iran might not be able to buy from elsewhere, they'll start producing themselves for themselves. And what will the point then be? Adam, let's talk about this huge EV recall for something that when I first saw it, I thought was rather impressive.
Yeah, the minimalistic door handle, otherwise known as the flush door handle, that sort of neatly stows away, sleek and sporty and possibly dangerous. So, as you say, in China, 4 million electric vehicles have been recalled, including 3 million Chinese-made Teslas. Not necessarily the same as other Teslas, though you wonder if this might extend around the world, because this is about the fact, and we have sort of touched on this before, and I'm sure that we've heard about this before, that electric vehicles can be very unforgiving in an accident, in that you can't open the bloomin' doors. And if you've got door handles that are flush, even electric or otherwise, then you can't get to them. And there have been 2 fatal crashes in China where people were stuck inside. I'm not sure if they were themselves trying to get out or whether people were simply trying to get in. Emergency services couldn't open the doors. So I guess they look great, but if they're dangerous, then they need to be changed. And indeed, I believe in China, they are now specifically changing the software on Teslas so that in the event of an accident, the windows automatically open. Although, of course, that could be a thing if your car is carjacked at the lights and suddenly it's in a minor collision, and then the windows open automatically and the criminals can get to you. It's not an ideal world, is it? But they've got a right problem with this in China. The question is, do the rest of us have this same right problem?
Well, yeah, I mean, in Johannesburg, you could be carjacked and you want those doors to be flush in that instance. So it's a real tricky one, Adam. Talk to me about being stalked by the cat in the hat.
This is it's like a boogeyman thing. This is so. It's suddenly children and teenagers and mischief-making teenagers in particular have got hold of this idea that there's a cat in a hat out there, as in the Dr. Seuss character with a big red and white striped hat, a fun feline mischief maker, or a dark, scary, and chaotic force of nature. So what's happening is that kids and teenagers in Ireland and the UK are taking images, often AI'd or completely faked, and scaring the bejeebers out of their classmates or fellow students, whatever. And it's the idea, look, there's a dark, shadowy figure. Look, there he is outside your house, a completely faked image, but it's enough that there have been children saying, don't go out at night. And maybe this is good news for the parents, but don't go out at night, be careful where you go. And so the police in the UK and Ireland have now issued kind of a dampening down message, which is, it's okay, it's all fictional, it's all nonsense. But you know what? It's better if children and teens find it's too wet to go out and too cold to play ball, just sit in the house and do nothing at all.
Adam Gilchrist with this morning's Worldview.
EWN Business.
Goldfields producing golden results. Muteo Kharipe.
Yeah, strong bullion prices are pushing them over the past year. Goldfields has announced profit of $1.8 billion, or 28 billion rand. Earnings were up just $2.07 per share for the 6 months ended in June. This represents an increase of 81% compared to last year. Record gold prices have pushed up earnings over the past year. Goldfields is a globally diversified gold producer with 8 operating mines in Australia, South Africa, Ghana, Chile, Peru, and 1 project in Canada. During the 6 months ended in June, 61% of adjusted free cash flow was paid to shareholders, and the company stepped up its share buyback program as well and completed share repurchases of $300 million between March and July of 2026. Shareholders are smiling all the way to the bank, expecting dividends of 16 Rand a share.
Ooh, what will Trump say? The S&P and the Nasdaq down.
Yeah, and it's solely because of that uncertainty around trade rules, the tariffs hitting on Canada, but also that fight with Iran over the Strait of Hormuz. Regular trading, the S&P 500 falling marginally yesterday. The Nasdaq composite also losing up by more than 0.5%. Those declines hit by chip stocks and other tech names, while the broader market, the Dow Jones, was up 140 points this morning. Some mixed trade for Asia markets. Japan's Nikkei falling 0.5%, while the Topix was marginally lower. South Korea's Kospi dropping by 2%. The small cap Kosdaq was also down by more than 1%, while Australia's benchmark S&P ASX 200 was marginally higher. The rand at this hour, 16.02 against the US dollar, still holding its own at 18 Rand 67 against the euro, 21 Rand 82 cents against the British pound. Price of gold is slightly lower this morning, $4,646. Platinum down 1% at $1,860 an ounce, while Brent crude is at $91.34 a barrel. I'll bring you more business later this afternoon.
Straight to the news desk we go, and don't forget, in this next half an hour, Sizophelela Vusi Nova is coming in. Sfisa Zulu, what have you got? Beat that.
Thanks, Bongani. Good morning. One of the 4 men arrested in connection with the murder of boxing legend Zolani Tete is expected to apply for bail in the Mdantsane Magistrates Court today. Uzuzole Kakwana faces charges of attempted murder and murder. He's made his first court appearance yesterday following his arrest in Gukompo City over the weekend. Tete was shot and killed while his partner was wounded on Friday. Koskona Malingamnisa reports.
3 more suspects are set to join Uzuzole Kokwana in court for the first time today. 2 of them appeared in a court in Gukompo yesterday on charges related to the Firearms Act. Eastern Cape NPA spokesperson Luxolo Kyali.
There is also 2 that appeared actually in Gukompo who have been charged with possession of illegal firearms and ammunition. That docket has been transferred to Mdantsane, so they'll join this 22-year-old man. Then there's a possibility that we might join a 4th person.
The state is opposing bail, arguing that the matter falls under Schedule 6 and that Kokwana could interfere with evidence. Prosecutors have also raised concerns for his safety, saying he may be better protected in police custody. His defense has meanwhile argued that his medical condition, including being wheelchair-bound, should be taken into account in the bail application. The court ordered that Kokwana be kept in the medical section of West Bank Prison. Malingamnisi, Eyewitness News in the Eastern Cape.
Another bail application today is that of a prominent KwaZulu-Natal businessman who was arrested for human trafficking. The 65-year-old, whose name cannot be legally disclosed, has also been linked to top cops and politicians during testimony at the Madlanga Commission. He is expected to appear in the Durban Magistrates Court with a 48-year-old man believed to be his accomplice. Tabiso Koba has more.
In August 2022, the Hawks rescued a group of women from a mansion in Durban North. It's alleged the 4 women were lured from El Dorado Park in Johannesburg under a false promise of a sales job. However, when they arrived in Durban, it's alleged they were forced into prostitution and pornography. The 65-year-old businessman is alleged to be the ringleader behind the entire operation. In addition, his name has been mentioned several times at the Madlanga Commission, exposing his ties to top police and political figures. Tabiso Koba, Eyewitness News.
The Gauteng Education Department department says an inspector has been sent to Reicha Park Secondary School in Boksburg following concerns over the condition of its toilets. It's understood that some pupils have been forced to use a fire hydrant to drink water. The department says there were major repairs at the school previously, including work on toilets, sewer pipes and drinking water fountains. Spokesperson Onabile Lupe says the outcome of the assessment will determine what needs to be done.
A team of inspectors has been dispatched to assess the facilities and determine the interventions required.
And Venezuela's interim government says 6,509 people are now known to have died from the powerful twin earthquakes that struck the South American nation exactly 2 months ago. The magnitude 7.2 and 7.5 tremors devastated the coastal state of La Guaira, where at least 190 buildings fell apart. Efforts to recover the dead under the rubble are ongoing in La Guaira, where thousands of people made homeless by the quakes are living in makeshift camps. The interim government has not disclosed how many people remain missing after the disaster. A fine day in store for Gauteng today. The temperatures will peak at highs between 24 and 26.
And in the traffic in Centurion, we've got an accident on the N14 East. It happened right near the Brakfontein interchange, causing delays. There's also slow-moving traffic reported on the M2 West. That's between the Geldenhuys interchange and Cleveland Road. That's due to an accident.
The top story this hour, one of the 4 men arrested in connection with the murder of boxing legend Zolani Tete is expected to apply for bail in the Mdantsane Magistrates Court today.
Your neighborhood, your street, your home. Your local government election coverage lives on 702 Cape Talk and EWN.co.za. Download the EWN app.
A bigger and better national lottery is here. Play Powerball, Lotto, Daily Lotto, Match Play, and Instant Games. It's your chance to win big. Available at participating retailers, online, and on your banking app. The National Lottery. More plays, more chances, more millions. Players must be 18 years or older. Play responsibly. The National Lottery is officially operated by Sisakai.
35 years ago, we started asking a simple question. What if change wasn't something to survive, but something to invest in? Markets have risen and fallen. Technology has rewritten the rules. The world has shifted in ways nobody predicted. Through it all, we kept investing with conviction for the long term, for you. Change is opportunity. We're always ready to invest in it. 91. Investing for a world of change. 91 is an authorized FSP.
Cloud adoption is no longer the differentiator. Business value is. Today's leading organizations need more than technology platforms. They need better visibility, faster decision-making, and the agility to respond to change. BCX connects cloud, cybersecurity, managed services, AI, and trusted telecom business connectivity into one intelligent ecosystem that helps organizations improve operational performance, strengthen resilience, and create measurable business outcomes. BCX. Connected multi-cloud, intelligent business. BCX enables businesses. Visit bcx.co.za.
You'll drive 20 extra minutes, walk past 3 competitors, ignore every special sign just to get to your place, your bakery, your bookshop, your car wash, your family restaurant. Because loyalty doesn't always choose the closest, it chooses the best. Gauteng's greatest awards with 702, powered by Yoko. Rewarding the local businesses and entrepreneurs that have earned that place in your life. The businesses that deliver every time and keep you coming back for more. Go to primemediaplus.com now to view the awards categories and nominate the business that's earned your loyalty. Because if they're worth the drive, they're worth the nomination. Gauteng's greatest awards with 702, powered by Yoko. Less admin, more time for what you love. Yoko, let's grow on 702 and primemediaplus.com. You're listening to 702 Breakfast with Bongani Bingwa, brought to you by BCX, technology that helps organizations move forward.
What to do with our overcrowded prisons? Fernando, you're in Germiston. Is it a picnic? Is it a bit of a holiday? What are your thoughts?
No, I don't think prison's a picnic. I don't think it's nice, but it's not a deterrent. Criminals don't give two hoots about prison, especially in South Africa. And a prime example is the answer that guy gave that has now been fingered in that fire in Johannesburg that killed 70-odd people. That he said he was so desperate that he wouldn't mind going to prison because at least you'd get a meal. The hardened gangs in the Western Cape don't give two hoots about prison. They run crime from prison. It's an honor. Prison is not a deterrent. We are not serious about crime. GBV, the whole lot. We are not serious.
So what should we do? How do we solve it?
Bring back the death penalty for heinous crimes. It doesn't work in South Africa. Look at the crime rate. These guys from Zimbabwe, they need to send them back. That's it. Send them back. I don't really care what they do. Don't do the crime. That's all. I pay tax. It's high time. Residents, citizens, really stand up and start pandering to people who commit murder, kill children, rape children. There's no consequence. Black lives don't matter in South Africa at all.
All right, Fernando in Germiston says we don't take these crimes seriously enough. Bring back the death penalty. That'll solve it. That'll show them. That'll teach them. Until, of course, you're the accused person who is incorrectly fingered for a crime, and that's what happens to you or someone you know or someone you love. America, for example, is probably the country that executes the most people in the Western world. Do they not have a problem with crime and illegal migration? Will that solve it for us? You let me know.
Bongani, thank you so much for that big interview. The subject is something that's touched my family quite recently, whereby due to extortion by some crooked cops, a family member ended up being locked up in one of these Johannesburg prisons, and we got to see firsthand what those conditions are. He is correct about overcrowding, starvation, violence. It is hell in there, so that this person has actually needed mental health support after coming out of that experience. It's cold. We recently heard of someone dying after that cold snap and being left in the cell overnight. And it is just crazy out there, Bongani, and a real humanitarian crisis. And until it visits your home, you don't know what's going on. So thank you so much for that, because it brings to the fore a very, very big crisis.
Yeah, until you're affected, right? It always seems we've got to be careful as a society to look for simple solutions that look easy, right? That don't take into account unintended consequences. Yeah, I'm pretty certain the higher up you're in a gang, perhaps the easier it is to navigate the prison system. That may be fair. But that's not the experience of everyone who goes behind bars. For many, it is quite literally hell on earth.
EWN Sport.
All right, some big games in the Betway Premiership tonight, Anthony Teixeira.
Yeah.
Will I be wearing my skipper tomorrow?
You would certainly hope so.
I would. Wouldn't I?
Well, given the fact that Orlando Pirates won the MTN 8 semi-final first leg 1-0 against Sekhukhune United over the weekend, they will go into this encounter once again with each other, feeling that they are on top of the world as they kick off this evening. Meanwhile, a winless Marimo Gallants and TS Galaxy, as well as Kruger United and Durban City will play. Chippa United are away to Siwalele. Simultaneous kickoff at 7:30. Over in England, there's the third round of the Carabao Cup. Selected fixtures include Southampton meeting West Ham, Birmingham City playing Brentford, and an all-Premier League clash between Nottingham Forest and Leeds. Well, in the English top flight Monday evening, Xabi Alonso came out on top in the battle of former Real Madrid managers as his Chelsea went to Alvaro Arbeloa's Fulham and won 3-2. In rugby, it'll be a first outing in an all-black jersey for Richard Mo'unga since the 2023 World Cup final loss to the Springboks, when the New Zealanders hear the roar of the Lions at Ellis Park this evening in the final tour match against the URC sides.
There's a few changes, but the main one are some of the faces. I've met some of my teammates for the first time on this tour, so it's a different dynamic that I'm used to. There's an awesome buzz within this group. The leaders are doing a really awesome job at leading this team, and you've got guys just ready to go to put their hand up, and I can definitely sense that in this environment.
Meanwhile, head coach Ivan van Rooyen is saying that his Lions don't have match fitness.
We're not URC ready, but it's such a wonderful occasion and such a privilege to be in this game that obviously we had to adapt a little bit, and we're happy to adapt. We haven't had too much collision, but a real excitement from within to not just play against the All Blacks, but to test yourself, test your systems, to test you individually. So like I say, if I would be really nervous if URC had to start next week, but for this occasion, we were willing to bite the bullet a little bit.
7 p.m. kickoff at Ellis Park. Rassie Erasmus has drafted in Handré Pollard for the second test in rugby's greatest rivalry series out in Cape Town this weekend. The coach believing the double World Cup winning fly half's record and familiarity with hometown conditions just edges him over Sasha Feinberg and Ngomezulu, who drops down to the bench, and Mani Libok, who doesn't feature in the match day 23.
Andre has always been the guy that does it for us. He grew up there, it's his hometown. The same like Mani. I feel bad for Mani, but we know Mani is still going to play in these next two matches after this one. So yeah, we think Andre is a good fit for that.
And the US Open mixed doubles, day 1 today. Headline-stealing partners Serena Williams and Carlos Alcaraz have an outsync scheduled for an estimated 8 p.m. this evening.
Ooh.
Yeah, it's going to be exciting, especially given the fact that both are basically trying to get match fitness. All of that taking place before or around 8 o'clock. Anthony Teixeira, Eyewitness News Sport.
You're with Bongani Bingwa.
7:02 weekday mornings, 6 to 9 a.m.
From the 28th to the 30th of August, the Festival of Motoring, powered by Westbank, will bring energy, excitement, and adrenaline all about motoring to the Kyalami Grand Prix circuit. The Festival of Motoring puts you at the heart of the action, from exhilarating track experiences and performance cars to 4x4's adventures, handling experiences, and the sights and sounds of Kyalami. This is something you experience, not just something you watch. So whether you're a serious petrol head or just looking for your next car, chasing an adrenaline rush, or simply looking for an exciting day out, the Festival of Motoring will bring cars, experiences, entertainment, food, and the motoring community together in one place for 3 glorious days of motoring energy and entertainment. The Festival of Motoring, powered by Westbank at the Kyalami Grand Prix circuit, 28 to 30 August. Get your tickets now on Howler. Don't just hear about it, be there in partnership with 702. Or if you WhatsApp us your name and the answer to this question, you could win a pair of tickets. You want to go? You want to hear the vroom vroom and be a part of it? On 072 702 1702, I want to know from you, which company makes the Mustang? WhatsApp us now and you could be a winner.
The Midday Report.
Weekdays,
12 to 1.
The ANC, what a mess this weekend. They were supposed to announce their mayoral candidates, and then they didn't announce the mayoral candidates, and then they announced those people who were in the running to be mayoral candidates, and then they announced their election manifesto. Professor Andre Duvenhagen, how damaging do you think that'll be for the ANC?
It is a total anticlimax. If we look at the 5-6 points of their manifesto, there's nothing new. They couldn't provide mayoral candidates. In fact, for Joburg, there are at least 3 names: Lozisu, Masuku, Dada Moreru, and the possibility of Frank Shikane. So there's huge uncertainty.
The Midday Report
with Mandy Wiener.
12 to 1 on 702.
702.
The CSIR International Convention Center has over 40 years of experience in hosting international, local, and national business events. It's a purpose-built venue set on a tranquil campus in Pretoria East, in the knowledge hub and science diplomacy capital, the city of Tshwane. So why don't you host your next business event at a venue where innovation meets experience? Visit csiricc.co.za for more information. The CSIR International Convention Center, where smart minds meet.
It's a good thing you're naked on a run. Because what if you're halfway through a self-help audiobook about letting go and your phone takes it literally? With Naked, you can submit your phone claim instantly on the app. Go to naked.insure now and get device insurance at a lower premium. Because when bad things happen, it's a good thing you're naked. Naked Financial Technology is an authorized FSP. Get naked.
Need a new appliance? Upgrade with Checker 6060 and we'll deliver today. Monday morning, Nespresso's calling. Let's go 6060. Bad hair day, Dyson's on the way. Let's go 6060. Cleaning hour with Karcher Power. Let's go 6060. Newsmaker toaster for the boaster. Let's go 6060. Shop our wide range of home, kitchen, and beauty appliances on Checker 6060 and get it delivered today. Let's go 6060.
EWN Traffic.
Let's wrap up the morning's traffic. It's been a busy one, Amu.
Indeed, Bongani. If you are traveling on the N3 North at this particular moment, we've got delays between Linksfield Road and Vincent Chabalala Road. That's due to an accident. There's also queuing traffic on the N1, M1 South between Allendale Road and Marlborough Drive. This is due to an accident that's been reported there since the early hours of this morning. So please try to avoid this one. You can still use the N1 South through Bryanston and Fourways. We'll have more updates for you at the top of the hour. Stay tuned.
There's more EWN on air, online, and on the EWN app. Cutting costs means more money for your business. Switch to OUTsurance Business Insurance, and you could get a massive 20% discount on your business insurance premium. Here's Marshall from Bow Electrical.
I was with my other insurance for many years, and then I switched to OUTsurance Business Insurance. It was a one quick call. They gave me a great cover and a great price. Give them a call. You have nothing to lose. I wish I have switched sooner.
Get a quote to switch and save today. Visit outsurance.co.za or call 0800 60,000. Licensed insurer and FSP. TCs and information online.
At Checkers, every day gets better and better. Get better freshness, better choices, and better value for money. With deals like Escort Barbecue Loin Rib Rack, 750 grams, 3 for 299 Rand. Fanta Sprite or Stony Soft Drink or Schweppes Soda Water, 2 liters, any 2 for 38 Rand. And Parmalat Protein Plus Full Cream Yogurt, 800 grams, any 2 for 85 Rand. Valid until 6 September, only at Checkers.
Hey guys, this is Robert Marawa, HollywoodBet's brand ambassador. Playing responsibly is part of the winning strategy. Make smart choices and continue to score. If you or someone that you know needs help, call the South African Responsible Gambling Toll-Free Counseling Line on 0800 006 008 or WhatsApp help to 076 675 0710. Hollywood Sportsbook is a licensed betting operator. HollywoodBet supports responsible gambling. No persons under the age of 18 years are permitted to gamble. Winners know when to stop.
Coming up
on the Clement Manyatela Show
on 702.
Clement out for the morning. Welcome back, Tabashola Mashao.
Bongles, lovely to be back.
Helps if you press the button there.
Oh, wow.
KG has done it for you.
Often I have a technical producer. I don't have to do such, but
you don't
I'm not
press
spoiled.
your own buttons?
I don't press my own buttons.
Oh, look at
Abel
you.
spoils me.
You see, KG, you thought I was the diva. What's on the show?
Yeah, a couple of things.
Did you put that at least?
Yeah, well, the sad part about our schools, Bongles, can you imagine you're a parent at work and you're getting a call from the teachers, from the school, and they say that your child was sexually assaulted. You rush to the school, the police are called, and the perpetrators happen to be not just schoolmates, but classmates. There was an incident like that in Boksburg last week, and it forces us once again to look at safety in our schools. We'll also look at 10 o'clock. We'll take the Madlanga Commission live with Kat Matlala. 10:30, we're in conversation with Salga about how to get your municipality to respond to your queries. And 11:05, World of Work. We will be talking about understaffing in the workplace, how it affects your metabolism, how it really works. All that and more between 9 and 12.
9 and 12. This is, of course, the Clement Manyatela Show with Thabo Shola Mashao. Is your metabolism fast, Thabo?
I used to eat a kettle, 2 fish, and 4 wings. I would be okay. But now, just touching a spoon of rice, I balloon.
Gravity catches up with all of us, my friend. That's the Clement Manyatela Show between 9 and 12.
Breakfast with Bongani Bingwa
on 702. Let's walk the talk.
asking you a very, very simple question this morning. If you'd like to go to the Festival of Motoring this coming weekend at the Kyalami Grand Prix, I want to know which company makes the Mustangs. Busiso in Rondeveld. What's the company that makes the Mustang?
Hi, Bongani. It's Ford itself. That will be Ford.
Ford. It's the Ford Motor Company.
Correct.
Yes, indeed. Busiso, are you a petrol head?
Definitely, I am.
Impress
muscle
me.
cars.
Bona, impress me about your knowledge of cars, or I'm going to give this away to someone else.
Okay, what do you want to know, Bongani? So, for instance, I like the Ford Mustang, especially the 5-liter. Unfortunately, in South Africa, they are bringing us the 2-liter, which is not that great, but I still love it. And the other ones that I really love it will be the Dodge, the Demon. Oh yeah, the sound of
You
that
like
car.
American cars, do you?
The sound.
The sound.
If other companies can get the sound for as the same as the one we get from the muscle cars, it will be amazing.
All right, Busiso, I'll give it
Yeah.
to you. Two
Thank
pairs,
you.
2 tickets, not pairs, not 2 tickets, a pair of tickets. That's what I mean. A pair of tickets to the Festival of Motoring this weekend, all happening at the Kyalami Grand Prix circuit. It's going to be fun 3 days, 28, 29, and 30th of August.
702 proudly presents the Dina Letty stage at the Standard Bank Joy of Jazz 2026.
We're gonna have some fun. You guys ready?
This is Jazz Reignited.
Jazz.
Get your tickets at Ticketmaster.
Head to Dis-Chem for great value on everything you need. Look out for the yellow label to enjoy bulk savings on Better Rewards brands. Swipe your Better Rewards card to get 2+1 cheapest free and an extra 10% off lifestyle food, 150 grams and 300 grams dried mango. Plus, get 2+1 cheapest free and an extra 10% off any Centrum multivitamin products. Valid until 13 September at Dis-Chem. Better health starts here.
It's a good thing you're naked while reversing out the driveway. Because what if that sound you hoped was part of the song definitely wasn't? With Naked, you can submit your accident claim instantly on the app. Go to naked.insure now and get comprehensive car insurance at a lower premium. Because when bad things happen, it's a good thing you're naked. Naked Financial Technology is an authorized FSP. Get naked.
This is Breakfast with Bongani Bingwa
on 702.
Let's walk the talk.
Good morning, Bongs and the team, 702 Land. Bongs, commenting on the Madlanga. I think personally, when somebody looks right into your eyes when you speak to them, to me it signifies focus. It substantiates that level of, the level of confidence that you are paying attention. But in some cultures, I've noted that actually looking down, especially to the elder when they speak to you, looking down somehow signifies respect. So it can be a bit of a tricky one.
Good morning, Bongani. Hope that you're well. Ulrich from Midrand. Yeah, I can't trust anyone. If you don't look me in the eyes when I greet you, and if you look me in the eyes when we speak. If you're distracted and you're looking somewhere else, I'll get your attention. I'll make sure you're looking at me. Just respect. I'm talking to you. You must engage back with me. Thank you. Have a lucky day.
It's not the same everywhere in the world. I mean, I think that first voice note does make a good point. Traditionally, in many African societies, somebody that you regarded with some seniority was not somebody you could look directly in the eye when addressing them. However, of course, I think in this instance, in a professional setting, what was happening yesterday was that the advocate the commissioner was addressing was looking at her colleague and talking to her colleague. And I think that's what he took exception to yesterday. Played you that clip earlier from the Madlanga Commission of Inquiry. Simi, in Kempton Park, your solution for the overcrowded correctional facilities is?
Hi, Bongani. How are you? I'm okay, thanks. It's Shimi.
Shimi, I beg your pardon. Right. Shimi, go ahead.
Yes. No, I think my concern with the prisons is that it's a luxurious lifestyle, right?
On what basis? Hold on, Shimi. On what basis do you say that?
Okay. They are living spaces. Technically, they've got a roof over their head. A hotel is paid for, technically. they've got medical care, they've got food, they've got education. Now, Bongani, you are aware that there's a matter before the SCA, state versus the grants that they say cannot be permanent, right?
Correct.
350
SRD grants,
versus
yep. The SRD grants, yeah.
Yes. Those grants versus the cost of a prisoner daily, right? They are far apart. Those guys, we pay them, they commit murders or they commit what? Then we sustain them inside the prison. So their rights, they've got far better rights than even an ordinary person outside.
Shimi,
so we'll see this
Shimi,
perpetuated over and over.
I'm going to have to stop you because that's just not true. It is absolutely
How
not
so?
true. I mean, of course, any place of incarceration means there will be a roof over one's head. But the idea that they're living this fantastic life in a hotel type of environment could not be further from the truth. You heard the inspectorate. You heard the inspectorate. These are the people whose job it is to go to facilities all around the country. In one description, he said some of the conditions these prisoners face are almost inhumane. The overcrowding, the lack of all sorts of issues that prisoners deal with in those environments, the lack of safety. Sanitation is a problem. You try and imagine what it would be like. You are in a cell with 80 men and there's only one toilet that you have to share between the 80 of you. No matter how desperate you are, there isn't a plan you can make until it is available. I've gone out of time and I could list all sorts of other issues that occur in our prisons. But this idea that it's a picnic, that it's funsies, homonati is simply not true. And whatever solutions we come up with, at the very least, let them be based on the facts.
702.
More than a radio station.
Let's walk the talk.
My time is up. I'll see you bright and early tomorrow morning. 702 Breakfast with Bongani Bingwa was brought to you by BCX, connecting cloud, telecom business connectivity, AI, and more to help organizations reduce complexity, improve resilience, and unlock opportunities.
This is EWN.
Good morning, I'm Sfiso Zulu. Alleged crime kingpin Vusmuzi Kat Matlala is expected to present documents to the Matlala Commission this morning. Good morning, I'm Sfiso Zulu. Alleged crime kingpin Vusmuzi Kat Matlala is expected to present documents to the Matlala Commission this morning to substantiate why he cannot answer certain questions. During his testimony yesterday, Matlala invoked his right to not incriminate himself. He claims that he's being investigated with suspended Deputy National Police Commissioner Shadrack Sibia for corruption, and so he cannot testify on the nature of their relationship. Khomotso Modise has more.
Towards the end of proceedings yesterday, Vusmuzi Kat Matlala refused to answer questions about the guns and luxury watches seized at his home during a raid by police, particularly on whether he spoke